Thanks for being here. This is Truthseekers with your host, Stephen Campion. Please rate, like and comment on our videos or podcasts. If you are listening to an audio podcast, please rate us 5 stars to help us rise in the search rankings. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to our channel. If you're listening to an audio podcast, we love and appreciate you listeners, but you are missing the live tapings. All our shows are recorded live with video feed. We'd love you to come be a part of our live broadcasts and tapings for the podcast. Head on over to YouTube, click the search tool, the little magnifying glass, put Truthseekers, one word in the search bar, and hit enter. You'll see a strange and mysterious guy with sunglasses. That means you found the channel. Go there, smash the subscribe button and hit the notification bell to receive up-to-date info on our YouTube channel. We welcome you to be a part of our live taping and our chat room during the live broadcasts. Seek the truth. Speak the truth. This is Truthseekers. Truthseekers.
We grifters, 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 we grifters.
Shape the emerging UAP narrative. Remember those words, folks. Shape the emerging UAP narrative. Remember those words, folks.
I'm an intel guy. 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 I'm an intel guy.
We grifters, 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 we grifters.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
Multiple whistleblowers.
Luis Elizondo.
We grifters, we grifters.
Remember those words.
We grifters, we grifters.
Remember those words.
We grifters, we grifters.
Say yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Say yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Say yes.
We grifters, we grifters.
Say yes. Say yes.
Luis Elizondo.
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 All these ancient prophecies telling us that the world will be transformed.
Wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock, where make-believe is real. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can he steal? He makes all this stuff up. so that they don't get you. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. We're make-believe free. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal? It's the wacky world of Wilcock. We're make-believe free. It's the wacky world of Wilcock. How much money can you steal?
This is where if I have a live audience, I get everybody to hug each other. I say, give your neighbor a handshake or a hug, whatever you feel is appropriate to you. And that way everybody feels the love a little more. I will never believe it, I will never believe it. Okay, that's fine. Maybe you need 25,000 more years, I don't know, buddy. But look, this is really compelling information, and it's going to get a lot more intense. It's coming up in a couple days here on Sunday, so if you haven't already signed up, we have reopened the cart. We still have the payment plan in place. That account, I believe, is real. I've watched it for a long time, and he says a lot of really provocative stuff there that has definitely caught my attention on many, many occasions. I've heard this briefing many times. Incredibly, incredibly sad, but probably a lot more than just what it looks like on the surface. If you don't really see what's going on here, this might not make sense. Very evil people are running the planet and want to kill you, okay? And they're trying to do that, and they're aggressively pursuing this goal right now. And now the earth is much like a tree in which the tree is ripening, and the fruit has come to its fruition. Fruit, you see what I did there? Anyway, the things that I was forced to witness, the Draco's eating human beings, and Draco's eating my own body. Okay, one of the things I discovered, which is very weird, is that some of the technology they got in UFO disclosure, they could literally chop your head off and then zip you right back together and bring you back to life like nothing even happened. So there are some sickos who had children get eaten alive and then resuscitate their body from the dead, and that's what apparently was done to me, among other things. That's it. I just want to kill people and drink blood and and rape and molest. That's my goal in life. And that's one of the main things I've had to deal with over the last few months. Galaxy, the alchemy of Jesus Christ, is that you will become like him. John 14:12. As I do these things, so shall you do them, and greater things. Cognitive abilities, psychic abilities, telepathy, seeing the future, all of these things are rolled in with that concept. So when we're looking at the possibility of liberating ourselves from the suffering, between 4 o'clock, let's go back to this one here. Between 4 o'clock, 4:30 and 8:30 in the morning yesterday was one of the worst days of my whole life. This was so crazy. This little guy starts exploding. This little guy starts exploding at the exact same time. This is on some kind of 20-year time bomb that it was from when the house was built.
Somber. I think there would be this big exhale for about a day. And then this turning inward and trying to reflect on what this means to us and our species and ourselves. Somber meaning serious. Somber meaning serious. Somber meaning serious. Somber meaning serious.
Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome back. We are here tonight to enter the wacky world of Wilcock once again. And I cannot tell you, every time I think that it can't get worse, it gets worse. Now David Wilcock is showing proof that he's getting top secret briefings from colonels and generals. And tonight I'm going to show you just what kind of clown world that David Wilcock lives in. Because tonight I've got the proof that he completely and totally lied about these top secret intel challenge coins on a public live stream on YouTube. This was a huge bluff. It was a huge bluff. He's tired of people saying, I suppose, or I've heard, he's tired of people saying that he just lies all the time and he's not getting briefings. First of all, let's just examine the ridiculousness of him claiming that he's getting top secret briefings. Let's just for a moment play devil's advocate. What if he is getting top secret briefings? Well, if you're getting top secret briefings, you're not allowed to go on YouTube and talk about the top secret briefings. But don't let, things like facts and logic and reality get in the way of a good story that you could sell to stupid people, especially stupid people that may have $333 to buy your latest batch of bull. But this is where we're at, and this is where we find ourselves. But before we begin taking apart the false reality and the lies being pushed by David Wilcock, I just want to address something. I'm aware of this second round of Mexican UAP or UFO hearings. And it's interesting that Jaime Maussan, after pulling a stunt where he pulled out dead corpses that he claimed were aliens, which were actually made by gluing together human remains, human corpses and body parts, which, by the way, were stolen from an archaeological dig site and then glued together wrong. Let's put the leg bone in the arm bone, make it look like an alien with long arms, and let's put the arm bones in the leg bone, make it look like a short alien. These alien mummies, alien bodies, whatever you want to call them, the Peru mummies are completely and totally fakes. They are made by desecrating human remains and disrespecting the remains of someone's dead relatives. And to all you clowns still supporting that hoax, I don't care what Jaime Maussan and the people that work for him are saying. Oh, they're saying they're definitely real. He says everything's real. He said fairies were real. He said a marmoset monkey was a real alien. Turned out to be a dead marmoset monkey somebody shaved down. He said the Roswell slides were aliens, couldn't be human. And by the way, the same doctor who is now saying that those alien mummies are real is the very same doctor who looked at the slides from the Roswell slide hoax and said it couldn't be a mummy and that could not be a human body. 100%, it could not be a human body. What did it turn out to be? A human body. So the same guy who worked for Jaime Maussan running the Roswell slide scam is working for him again, still trying to push this dead hoax up a hill. And, you know how you can tell how fake those Mexican aliens are? look at who's covering it and jumping in to get their piece of that scam. People like Jimmy Church and Christina Gomez. Hey, Christina Gomez. Hey, Jimmy Church. This is a public challenge. I want to know if it's okay with you that I go dig up your dead grandparents. Then I'm going to take their bodies and mutilate them. I will desecrate your dead relatives' bodies. I'm going to glue their arms where their legs where their arms are, their arms where their legs are. I'm going to cut off their heads, and then I'm going to glue a llama skull onto the top of their human remains. And then I'm going to claim that that's the body of an alien. And if you, Christina Gomez, are not okay with me digging up your dead relatives and doing that, then maybe you shouldn't get in line to get some money from this absolutely despicable hoax and scam being run by the scam hoax master, Jaime Maussan. And how about you, Jimmy Church? Can I dig up your dead relatives and then glue their body parts back together and claim, and by the way, rob their graves? These dead bodies used in this scam, in this hoax, were robbed from graves. So what's the difference between Jaime Maussan and his Confederates doing that and me digging up the dead relatives of Jimmy Church and Christina Gomez and doing the very same thing? Well, first of all, something called ethics and integrity. And by the way, I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying I'm going to do that. So let's not anybody misconstrue what I'm saying. I'm using this as an example. If people pushing this Mexican alien scam are not okay with people digging up their dead relatives and gluing them back together with plaster and a llama skull pretending it's an alien, then they shouldn't be okay with Jaime Maussan doing that. But don't let things like ethics and morality get in the way of a great fake alien story that you could make some money. Christina Gomez and Jimmy Church made hundreds, if not thousands of dollars off the last time this scam popped up. We did a show conclusively 100% proving that those are not aliens, that is yet another hoax in a long line of, 50 hoaxes from Jaime Maussan? But yet the grift squad like Christina Gomez, the grift squad like by Jimmy Church, by the way, half the reason David Wilcock survived the 2000s was Jimmy Church platforming him, introducing him at conferences, working with and for him, right? But here we are, and now Jimmy Church is pushing the dead Mexican alien scam again. And by the way, Jaime Maussan today showed some UFO videos. We're going to show you later in the broadcast that the videos that Jaime Maussan showed at that UFO hearing in Mexico today are completely and totally fake. One was a Yoda balloon. Great, great. So put your disclosure boners, get ready for your disclosure boners to be deflated, because those UFO videos that Jaime Maussan showed today that everybody's getting their disclosure boner hard, all those videos that he showed today are hoaxes and frauds and fakes, and that was proven many years ago. He just pulled them back out, and you stupid people getting your disclosure boners don't realize that those are fake videos. One was flares. One was a goddamn Yoda balloon. So we've gone from Batman balloons to Yoda balloons. It's awesome. But don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good fake story you can tell. And by the way, there is breaking news on David Wilcock's hover car company. We've previously detailed how David Wilcock's fake aerospace, or it's a real company, but it's we'll call it a shady aerospace company, which, by the way, has been collecting investor money for, I believe, decades now and has never produced a single product for sale so far. Not a single airplane, not a single propeller, not a single airplane part, to my knowledge. So David Wilcock's whole hover car situation was that him and this shady aerospace company that's never produced a single product were somehow going to crack the secrets of anti-gravity, somehow going to crack the secrets of free energy too. Remember, he said it would have a free energy engine too. Not only was it anti-gravity, it was free energy. You'd never even have to put energy in it or put fuel in it or plug it in. And you could power your whole house from it. And you could go 400 miles an hour. Come on, friends. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And let's not forget that David Wilcock's shady aerospace company also includes a man named Bill McEwen. Go look up his shady dealings, business dealings in the past. That's the second in charge. David Wilcock, I believe that he uses other, let's call them con artists or shady individuals to sell his alien fantasies. He did it with Pete Peterson. He did it with a fake space clown that claimed he went on space adventures for years and then admitted under oath in court he'd never been to space. Now he's doing it with this Stavati Aerospace. So there's we have detailed that Stavati Aerospace is being sued. This is David Wilcock's company. They're being sued by creditors for unpaid bills. That's one lawsuit. In a separate lawsuit, they were sued by an investor who claimed that their company was, quote, an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. And in those court documents, Stavati Aerospace essentially admitted that they were using new investors' money to pay off old investors. Friends, that is the technical and textbook and dictionary definition of a Ponzi scheme. David Wilcock's company admitted that they're giving old investors new investors' money. Does this sound familiar? It's called a Ponzi scheme. But like I said, let's not let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good fake alien story that you can tell. And now, friends, we're going to get to the meat of things. But before we begin, I want to make sure that we recognize and understand that in this latest garbage piece by David Wilcock, he is once again citing Pete Peterson. And for those unaware, David Wilcock must not play chess. He doesn't understand the concept of chess. But I looked at let's just call it a disagreement. I disagree that David Wilcock should be able to sell lies to people for millions of dollars. And so I decided quite naively to do something about it. And quite honestly, I naively thought I'd make a few videos and show everybody, for example, that when you buy a book from David Wilcock, if you put it in a plagiarism checker, it comes up 50 to 60% copied from some other books. That's just one example of things we've covered over the years. We've also caught him lying numerous times. We've detailed his shady business dealings, including his shady charity and how they collected all that money. And then David Wilcock essentially spent it all on himself, gave a few $1,000s out of over, I believe it was $70,000 to $100,000 collected for his charity, gave a few thousand to charity and spent the rest on himself, on things like $4,500, I think it was. And by the way, I'm going from memory. So $4,500 on meals and entertainment from himself. And he used charitable donations to buy himself $4,500 worth of meals and entertainment with his charity money. And by the way, people are giving money to a charity thinking he's doing charitable things with it. They're not thinking that they're treating David Wilcock and his wife to $4,000 plus of meals and entertainment. And then, by the way, that's just 1 year. 1 year, he spent $4,000 on meals and entertainment. And I want to ask everyone within the sound of my voice, especially if you have a wife or children too, a whole family, when's the last year of your life that you spent $4,000 in 1 year on meals and entertainment? But it is what it is. So David Wilcock is once again using Pete Peterson as a source. Half of this stream is about Pete Peterson. What you need to know about Pete Peterson is that Pete Peterson was basically a career con artist. He was involved verifiably in a pump and dump stock scam before his death. And they used his fake biography. Pete Peterson has a completely and totally fictitious, made up fake biography. For those unaware, Pete Peterson was one of David Wilcock's whistleblowers before the secret space clown got popular. And Pete Peterson claimed all kinds of things. He claimed that he worked for the Russian equivalent of NASA. He claimed he won the Russian Order of Lenin Award. Friends, there's a list of everybody that's ever won the Order of Lenin Award. You can get a list on Wikipedia, and it shows every single person that ever won the Russian Order of Lenin Award. Guess who's missing? David Wilcock's fake whistleblower who claimed he won that award. No. I even contacted a Russian historian to double check. Pete Peterson claimed to be an early computer pioneer who beat Apple and Commodore and Tandy and all these other companies to market with the first alphanumeric keyboard computer. Except there's a problem with that. We checked with we checked with 4 or 5 vintage computer museums. We even checked with real early computer pioneers like Dave Haney, famous from Commodore and Commodore Amiga. Nobody in the computer industry, especially early computer pioneers that we checked in with, even knew who Pete Peterson was. His entire biography was fabricated for a pump and dump stock scam. They pretended they were bringing in an early computer pioneer to pump up the cost of this penny stock. And once the stock reached a certain level, all the people involved that were running this dumped the stock and left the stockholders holding the bag. So Pete Peterson is a complete and total fraud. He never worked for the government. We checked, unless you count the United States Marine Corps. He was in the Marine Corps for a short time. But while in the Marine Corps, he claimed that he was working on nuclear weapons and all kinds. No, he was only active duty Marines for 2 years, and there was a break in that. He was a reservist in the Marines. He wasn't working on nuclear technology. And this is all of the things that David Wilcock uses. David Wilcock claims that Pete Peterson was the world's most preeminent inventor. Go look for patents in his name. And by the way, I hate to give everybody homework, but I'm tired of repeating myself about Pete Peterson. David Wilcock did exactly what I predicted he would do. When Pete Peterson died, I said, David Wilcock's going to keep using him as a source. He's going to keep saying he said stuff. It's the perfect source for David Wilcock, who can just make up anything and say, Pete Peterson said this. He's a dead man. Nobody can verify it. And by the way, he's a dead con artist. And by the way, I hate to speak ill of the will, but I hate to speak ill of the dead. But Pete Peterson was a con artist and a liar, a pathological liar, and a scammer. He wasn't who he claimed to be. He also claimed he worked for Ronald Reagan. We checked extensively. He never worked for Ronald Reagan. In fact, near as I can tell, Pete Peterson never worked for the government. So it kind of blows David Wilcock's claim that he's a government insider to shit. Don't you have to work for the government before you can become a government whistleblower? Not in the wacky world of Wilcock or the land of make-believe where David Wilcock lives. You could just say that you worked for the government, not prove it, and then declare yourself a government whistleblower. And by the way, Peterson talked about all kinds of crazy things. We heard from Jay Widener when he was on Gaia TV. He was rambling, incoherent mess, a senile old man telling weird stories that made no sense for hours on end, and then they had to edit the hell out of it to try to get an episode or two out of him. So did David Wilcock just take advantage of a senile old man who also happened to be a con artist and a liar and a scammer that never did any of the things in his own internet biography? And by the way, I've gotten so tired of explaining the Pete Peterson situation. And I hate to give people homework, but my new rule now is going to be, if you're going to argue with me, especially about something that we have clearly established that Pete Peterson was a con artist and a pathological liar who made grandiose claims about his background, about his work accomplishments, about his work history. Even his education was completely and totally faked. He didn't have the degrees that he claimed that he had. He made incredible, incredible claims of inventing all this computer technology. Friends, I have a background in computer science. I've spent a lifetime in the field of computers. No one that I ask in the field of computers has ever heard of Pete Peterson. He's not a well-known inventor. He's not an early computer pioneer. He's a liar who, by the way, claimed that his company was called Cyberdyne Systems. And David Wilcock would later claim that the people who made the Terminator movies stole Cyberdyne Systems from Pete Peterson's real company. Okay. You know, it gets thicker and thicker. So I've grown tired of explaining the Pete Peterson situation. But before we get into this, I have a wrap up that I did. And this, by the way, is part of an pardon me. This is part of an extensive investigation that I did into Pete Peterson. I spent several months going through every line of Pete Peterson's biography. And I assure you, on my word of honor, Pete Peterson is not who he claimed to be. He wasn't an early computer pioneer. We checked with experts. He never worked for the Russian equivalent of NASA. We checked with a Russian space historian. He never won the Russian Order of Lenin Award. We checked both with Wikipedia and with the Russian embassy here in the United States, where we got a Russian historian to check both his legal name and his fake name. By the way, Pete Peterson was his fake name. Gary Peterson was his real name. He didn't win those awards. He also claimed to win all kinds of military awards, which we were unable to verify. So the whole Pete Peterson story falls apart. And by the way, like I said, I hate to give people homework, but I'm not going to argue with somebody unless you've spent 2 months looking into this man like I did years ago. Don't come at me and argue and tell me I'm wrong unless you can prove me wrong, not just in this wrap up I'm going to play for you, but in the total 2-hour debunk, which is in the description of this video. So let's get into this. This is my wrap up. And remember, this is important because in this latest stream from David Wilcock, he extensively cites Pete Peterson. So I ask you, why should we care what Pete Peterson says if someone like me, a real researcher, can come along and prove that Pete Peterson lied about everything? He lied about his background. He lied about his education. He lied about his work history. He lied about working for Ronald Reagan. He lied about working for the Russian equivalent of NASA. He lied about being an inventor even. The only thing he invented is his fake history. But it is what it is. Let's get into this before we begin, because this will give us some context. We have to understand before we listen to what David Wilcock is pushing about Pete Peterson, that Pete Peterson is a complete and total liar and a fraud. He's not a government whistleblower. He never worked for the government except for being in the Marines. But he was never a top secret government contractor. He never had top secret clearance near that we could tell. His education was fake. Everything about him was fake. And David Wilcock ignored that so that he could sell his fake story. And I have to also say that this fake whistleblower of David Wilcock's is only one of a long line of his fake whistleblowers, you know, whose background is extremely suspect. And, you know, I really think that it says everything about David Wilcock, that he could have done all the research that I've presented to you tonight, but he either chose not to, or he did, and he didn't want to screw up the ability to sell a good story. So he ignored all the evidence that that man is a complete and total fraud and ran with it. And I got to say, I think he should have to give the money back. How much money did Gaia TV pay him to go on Gaia TV and help tell this man's story? He didn't vet this man at all. He didn't do an ounce of research, not 5 minutes, or he did, and he didn't care that the guy was a complete total fraud and just took the paycheck anyway. In either of those cases, I think he should have to give the money back. So I challenge David Wilcock, give the money back. Give it to charity. I challenge David Wilcock on the GoFundMe money. Come on, this is not right. You run around preaching about karma and love and light, right? And this is what you're doing? You're going on a GoFundMe. You're posting
to an immense following on social media, begging people to give money to a GoFundMe for a guy that's a complete and total fraud and not a real government insider. You have zero proof the man ever worked for the government except for the Marines. That's it. And oh, you don't have that proof, and you probably never took the time to get that proof. Somebody else did that for you too, David, because you were too lazy to do it. And I gotta say, it's not just the Gaia TV money and the GoFundMe money that David Wilcock generated in relation to this fake whistleblower that he's been promoting and supporting and selling. It's not just the money from all the conference appearances where he's talked about this guy. He also has been selling Pete Peterson's bullshit made up fake stories in one of his books for a long time now. And that book is The Ascension Mysteries. David Wilcock, I gotta say, like, I can't decide. Is he stupid to put a book on Amazon filled with stories from this fake fraud, early computer pioneer and government insider, and he didn't vet the guy? His book is filled with stories about this Pete Peterson person. And I gotta say, like, I think he should give the money back from that book, because that book is filled with stories of Pete Peterson and all this government insider stuff that he got from Pete Peterson. But look, folks, we've shown what a fraud this Pete Peterson is. How come David Wilcock went to the trouble to write an entire book that's got tons of stories of Pete Peterson and all this stuff in the book, and he didn't even bother to check the guy's education? He didn't bother to check the guy's military service. He didn't bother to figure out that this guy claimed to work for the Russian equivalent of NASA, but never did. He didn't bother to figure out that this guy claimed that he got, the Russian Order of Lenin award, like their highest civilian award, but that he really didn't, that was a fake story. He didn't bother to do any of that. He just wrote a book filled with stories from this fake fraud asshole and went on selling it at UFO conferences, lecturing on it, going on Gaia TV and selling this guy's story. He should have to give every penny of the money that he has generated connected to Pete Peterson back. He should not get to keep it, because it's all lies, folks. It's all lies based on what I can only describe now, having researched him, as a complete and total pathological liar. I don't know if any of you have ever been unfortunate enough to know or encounter a pathological liar, but read this guy's bio. He makes himself out to be this big, grandiose figure in history, and all of it is lies. That, my friends, is the mark of a pathological liar. That a pathological liar will always make themselves out to be the hero of the story. They're this big, important person, and here's why, and here's all these fake accomplishments. And David Wilcock didn't check any of this stuff. He sold the story of what can only be described as a pathological liar for years and years. Then he goes and writes a book full of this guy's fake stories, and has been selling that book for years and years. And by the way, you can go buy that book yourself for it's $12.33 on Amazon. You can go and buy this book for $12, and it's worth $12 for the laughs. But I really don't want to encourage anybody to buy a book full of lies and put more money in this asshole David Wilcock's pocket. Somebody sent me a really nasty email that I got to stop saying that people like David Wilcock sell bullshit. I don't know what else to call David Wilcock's profession except a bullshit salesman. He's been running around taking money from UFO conference organizers, talking about this fake fraud storytelling bullshit artist, Pete Peterson, and he took their money. And what he gave them back was bullshit. It's all fake, folks. I've proven that this guy is complete total fraud. He took their money. Then he writes a book filled with stories from this idiot. And that's more money that he's taking from people, and everything in the book related, at least, to this Pete Peterson is bullshit. Then he goes on GoFundMe and begs everybody to give this guy a whole bunch of money, and he raises $60,000 with a bunch of bullshit stories that weren't accurate at all about this guy. What else do you call David Wilcock but a bullshit salesman? I don't know what else to call him. He sells bullshit, folks. That's what David Wilcock does. He sells bullshit. And it's not just this Pete Peterson thing. Listen, let's say he was a good researcher and he actually presented, factual information and found some kind of evidence once in a while and lectured on that, wrote books on that, and then maybe he made this one mistake. He was too trusting and he didn't take the time to vet this guy or do enough research to figure out that he was a bullshit artist. I would give him a pass. I would totally give him a pass. But that's not what you get with David Wilcock. Pete Peterson is just the latest in a line of fake whistleblowers that David Wilcock's been running around and selling. And I got to say, it's not just David Wilcock that's responsible for this fraud stuff happening. There are other people just as guilty that have enabled him and helped him. And those people know who they are. And a lot of people are, really sending me nasty stuff about other show hosts and saying, you should say this. And I'm not going to say anything. That guy knows who he is. That guy has enabled David Wilcock to sell this bullshit for years now.
Yeah. And that guy, by the way, is Jimmy Church. Jimmy Church is largely responsible for helping David Wilcock sell his garbage. And by the way, we have some breaking news. I began talking about how David Wilcock's shady aerospace company is being sued by two people. One of them is an investor who claims that he was defrauded out of money in an investment scam and Ponzi scheme. And so he sued Stevati Aerospace. That's one lawsuit. There's a secondary lawsuit where one of their vendors sued them for unpaid bills. I think they owe them, is it $80,000 or $90,000? You'll have to forgive me. We've covered it previously. That's two lawsuits. Now we've got breaking news of a third lawsuit against David Wilcock's shady hover car company. That's right. David Wilcock's shady hover car company is being sued by a third person. And we have the details for that for you, courtesy of John Christian Spadavecchia, a researcher who's writing a book and is doing great stuff finding all these lawsuits. So I'm going to share my screen. We're going to cite fair use, but John is aware. He sent me this to share. Stevati's third lawsuit, this one also in New York, for another lien. They had an asbestos abatement and buildings demolished. Afterward, they left an unpaid bill of $45,929. The lien holder is finding an extension to maintain interest in the property. Mr. Spadavecchia goes on to say, a Stevati insider told me there are around $300,000 to $400,000 worth of liens on this property. And by the way, this is unverified. I haven't independently verified this, but all of Mr. Spadavecchia's information has proven to be accurate previously, so take from that what you will. With Davis Omer foreclosing, I would expect other lien holders to come out of the woodwork to secure their liens in anticipation of foreclosure. So you know that airplane hangar that David Wilcock was so proud of? It may be in foreclosure soon. There's liens on it and people are suing them and they're going to have to pay, or their property, the hangar, could be foreclosed on. And we also have detailed in the past how David Wilcock's shady hover car company, Stevati Aerospace, their only income is from a garbage company, a dumpster company, which is storing dumpsters in David Wilcock's hangar. That's their only income. So, there's a reality here. These are more of the court documents. This is from Niagara County Clerk, filed October 25th. So what we have now is a third lawsuit against David Wilcock's shady aerospace company, which, by the way, he claims would have working hover car prototypes in a year, more than 2 years ago now. All he has shown is 3D printed models that look like G.I. Joe toys. He has no engine. They have no power source because, look, it's all a facade. It's all fake. David Wilcock is supposedly the director of advanced technology at this company, who's now being sued by three different people are suing David Wilcock's shady aerospace company. And what I have to say is that Stevati Aerospace has been putting pretty pictures of super high-tech airplanes on the internet for more than a decade and trying to collect investor money, but they've never produced a single airplane, to my knowledge, that we could see fly and see tests of. So, this is the fantasy world that David Wilcock lives in. He claims to be the director of advanced technology. Maybe you ought to tell your company to pay bills so that people don't sue you to get their $40,000+ back, or so that investors don't sue you to get their investment money back when they realize that they were the victims, according to that person suing them. He claims he was the victim of an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme. It's right in the court documents. And also right in those court documents, David Wilcock's shady company representatives admit that they were waiting for money for new investors to give to the old investors. That's the textbook definition of a Ponzi scheme, friends. But it gets better. So we've covered the Pete Peterson angle because we're going to get into this latest video of his where he cites Pete Peterson. And all you have to know about Pete Peterson was a complete and total fraud that kept running scams. He ran a pump and dump stock scam. He ran a GoFundMe scam and took $60,000 from, the UFO community, claiming he was a government insider and that police were entering his home. They were throwing his stuff in dumpsters and driving over it with bulldozers. We investigated that. None of that happened. Every line in the GoFundMe text body was completely and totally fake. And who helped Pete Peterson sell that scam? And by the way, it was a scam. GoFundMe took it down because it was a scam, right? Or no, they paid it out. They didn't take it down. I'm getting him confused with Randy Kramer's MedBed scam. That one was take it down. This one, they collected $60,000 and Pete Peterson was given the money apparently. But who helped him sell that scam? Well, David Wilcock, who promoted it on Jimmy Church's show. David Wilcock also promoted the Emery Smith PayPal donation scam. You remember that one where they claimed Emery Smith was under attack by the deep state. Turns out Emery Smith was under attack by a bottle of vodka, right? He was in the hospital actually for alcohol poisoning, according to an eyewitness to the events. His former, I suppose you could call him his former father-in-law, a man who created a YouTube channel called Points on the Curve and spilled the beans that was all a scam. Also promoted by David Wilcock. Also promoted on Jimmy Church's shit radio show. So now we're going to get into the meat of things. I didn't want to, by accident, sort of miss the most important part. The most important part of this latest stream full of lies, by the way, it's a bit of a skill of mine catching David Wilcock lying to everyone. We've done it countless times here, but here we'll do it again. And we have a great gotcha moment for you for tonight's broadcast, because David Wilcock was in this live stream, and he is showing these coins. And essentially he says in this that the coins that he shows on his live stream broadcast, the coins that he shows, I'm sorry, I have to get ready here this is going to be a good gotcha moment. The coins that he shows are challenge coins that are given to you when you get top secret briefings by generals or colonels. And so he's showing these coins and saying, these are proof that I'm getting top secret briefings, just so that we understand that that's what his claim is. And if you have ever been on the fence thinking I'm too harsh calling David Wilcock a pathological liar, this one's for you. Don't inbox me defending this liar, because he's on a public live stream showing these coins saying, these were given to me by a general. You can only get them from a general. And these are proof that I'm getting secret briefings. Okay, these are your proof. But we're going to get into where he really got the coins, because I know where he got them, and it wasn't from a general, and it wasn't from getting top secret briefings. And by the way, how ridiculous is that? Oh, I'm getting top secret briefings, and as soon as I'm done with those top secret briefings, I go on YouTube and I talk about them. That's not how this works, man. He would be arrested immediately. And you know, the Espionage Act has been pumped up lately. They don't play when it comes to that anymore because of 9/11 and because of Snowden. If you leak top secret intel, you're in a world of trouble. And by the way, I just want to get something off my chest before we begin this section. I want to make one thing clear. I have never, nor will I ever, encourage anyone to visit David Wilcock's home. Because of this thing we did called the David Wilcock Box of Dildos Challenge, there were rumors, by the way, false rumors, that for those unaware, I challenged him to find a box of dildos we buried somewhere in the world. And I said, if he found that box with his psychic powers, superpowers, alien friends, super friends, whatever, I would give him $10,000. He has yet to find the box, but rumors have been floating. And one of the biggest rumors is that I, or someone working for me, buried a big box of dildos at his home, like in his yard by the driveway, specifically, people have said. I categorically deny that. On my word of honor, I'm telling you the truth. I have never directed anybody to bury any dildos at his home or in his driveway. But I am aware that, at least these are the rumors, that people are going or maybe going to his driveway out at the road looking for, like, where that box of dildos is buried. At least this is what a few people have told me, that may or may not be accurate. So when he goes crazy here saying that people are visiting his home, it may be dildo seekers. I don't know, but I'm just putting it out there to get it off my chest. I have not now, nor would I ever condone anyone going that far to even for a goof to goof David Wilcock. I would not support or condone anybody going anywhere near his property. And by the way, we will do the big reveal and show you where that box is buried. And when you see it, you're going to understand why this man is a joke. Mr. Psychic Powers couldn't find this box. Wait till you see where we buried it. By the way, not on his private property. We did not violate, well, we might have. We didn't violate any trespassing laws. I'll leave it at that, to bury that box of dildos. But David Wilcock is claiming that he's getting top secret briefings from generals about people trying to murder him in this clip. And then in this clip also, he shows these coins, which we're going to show you the truth about him in a moment after we hear what he has to say these coins are.
So this is also why, like, please, nobody should ever come to my house. And it just happened again this past week, and I typically call it a stalker incident when it does. I have no trespassing signs up. It is illegal when you post no trespassing signs on private property. It is illegal to cross them.
And that's true. And people should know better that I would never support or condone any illegal activity, despite any of my feelings towards any of the Grift Squad.
Regardless of whether you think you found something.
And you found something? What, like a big box of dildos? And by the way, let me put my fair use banner up. This is fair use. This is a transformative work. We're educating the public about David Wilcock lying about these coins specifically, among other things. We're going to get into it. Let's get back to this. You know, and by the way, another part of David Wilcock's grift, and this is very grifty, David Wilcock is always claiming that he's in danger. And this, my friends, is a plot device. It's a plot device he uses so that he could pretend that his information is so secret and so important that people are trying to stop him from getting that information out to the public, up to and including trying to attack him or murder him. Remember when he was crying, saying that there was like ninjas from some Asian secret society, like trying to break in his house and murder him on Kerry Cassidy's show? He cried on that one too. Very unconvincing actor.
You think it's the right address. Okay. So I have been told to expect that somebody would come and that it would be an operation and that it would not be.
There's operations being
so
run
I have
against
to assume if anybody shows up at my house that it's highly threatening I've had multiple briefings about this. I am not allowed to ignore it. Okay.
Who would be giving him briefings about trespassers at his home? By the way, I called his local law enforcement. There are 0 reports. I want to make sure that we make this point clear. I like fact-checking cosmic con artists. It's funny because they lie so much. It's fun to call, So we called the local law enforcement, the people who he would call if someone was trespassing, and make a report. Guess where there's no reports of any trespassing on this person's property? The local police. He didn't make any reports. So is he just making this up? If you really thought your life was in danger, and by the way, I own a pretty large parcel of land in the middle of nowhere, which David Wilcock likes to pretend he does too. He doesn't really. Anyway, if my property was getting trespassed on, you're goddamn right, I'd start making reports because you want to document it so that when you catch the person or whatever, you make a report. There's no reports with local law enforcement nearest his home, the people who would take those reports and handle that. He didn't report it to police at all. But he's on the internet claiming he's getting top secret briefings that people are telling him about murder plots being run against him and how there's, like a top secret operation to, infiltrate his home and do him harm. This is all a plot device to sell the illusion that his information is important. His information is worthless. Bullshit is worth more. Literally, cow excrement is worth more than David Wilcock's information. You know why? Because cow excrement actually has some value. You can use it as a fertilizer, and there's other uses for it. David Wilcock's information is completely and totally worthless. You can't use it for anything. It's garbage.
And if you don't believe that I've had multiple briefings as if I need to do this, but okay, look, what do we got right here? We got 2 challenge coins. One of these is from an army general. Let's see if I can get that in focus. Yeah, there it is. And one of these is an Iron Eagle. Okay, so you can't.
He doesn't even remember where the second coin came from. So the first coin he claims came from a general. Let's back that up because I want to make sure we get in the part where he says you can't get these except from a general.
You can't get coins like these from people unless this guy's a general and this guy's a colonel in the Navy. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a Navy coin.
Or Air Force rather. Wait a minute, this is Navy. I got to get this right. Air Force colonel. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm crazy.
So he's getting briefings from an Air Force colonel, but he thinks that the colonel was in the Navy. Oh no, the colonel was in the Air Force. And remember, he's saying that you can't get these coins unless you get them from a general of the Army or a colonel of the Air Force. That's what he's claiming.
Anyway, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you talk to real insiders. They give you challenge coins.
That's the kind of stuff that happens when you talk to real insiders, friends. They give you these challenge coins, he's calling them. A term I'd never heard before. Feel free to look it up. Let me know what you find about so-called challenge coins used in the intelligence community. It's a fake story, friends. These coins are not what he is pretending they are. And by the way, I'm going to share this tab just so that we get a better look at the coins that he is showing. Again, he is claiming, we want to make sure that the audience can get a good look at that coin. He's claiming that he got these coins in secret briefings from generals and colonels. Additionally, he's claiming that you cannot get these coins except from an Army general or an Air Force colonel. And he is additionally claiming that these are the kind of coins that you get when you are getting secret briefings from government insiders. When you talk to real insiders, these are the coins that you're going to get. Let's go back and hear the rest of what he is saying here.
We're going to start making our own here pretty quick. Stavati challenge coins. But this is not fake. And
he says this is not fake. He's telling the truth here. You can't get these coins except from a general in the Army or a colonel in the Air Force. You can't get these coins except from real insiders when they give you them secret briefings. That's where you get these coins, when you get the secret briefings from the insiders. And you can't get these coins anywhere else.
So again, the insiders have told me that I have to suspect that if anybody comes here, that it's a murder, actually. And so please do not come to my house. You will be considered a security threat, and I have to deal with it as such. So I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be excited. I'm not going to be thrilled about it.
By the way, who in the government would try to murder David Wilcock, right? Oh, the deep state's going to try to murder him because his information is so good. He's been wrong about everything in his entire career. He was wrong about what would happen in the year 2000. He was wrong about us getting superpowers and rainbow light bodies in the year 2012. He was wrong about the mass arrests he's been talking about since 1998. He was wrong about the 3 days of darkness. That was a more recent one, right? Where he said the whole government would shut down the internet and we'd be in 3 days of darkness while they did the mass arrests. None of that happened. Additionally, several weeks ago, he said mass arrests were going to happen in the next 2 weeks. It's been a month since that happened. He was wrong about that as well. Why would the government kill a guy whose information is so piss poor he's wrong about everything? The truth is they wouldn't. But back to David Wilcock's bull spiel here.
I have to assume that this is a subterfuge of some kind. So I'm going to try to do more events, and I want to speak to you one-on-one like this, but please don't try to have in-person contact. I haven't had anybody here, not my family, not friends, no romance. Okay.
Oh, poor David hasn't had any romance in 2 years.
Okay, so I'm not looking for anybody to come and move in or hang out or show up.
Could you imagine he thinks people want to come and move in with him?
This is what you get right now. And I'm sorry if you want more, but that's what we got. If you want to do more with me, you can apply for a job with the company because we're going to be hiring a lot of people.
Okay, so he's going to be hiring a lot of people. But again, the important part of this is the coins. He claims that these are coins he got in top secret briefings with an Army general and an Air Force colonel. Additionally, he claims that the only place that you could get these coins is from a general or an Air Force colonel. And these are the kind of coins you get when you're getting secret briefings from insiders. And then he said, this is not fake. So he's telling the truth here, right? There's a real problem with these coins. And, you know, look, maybe there's some things about me that people don't know. Maybe I'm getting top secret briefings. Maybe I'm talking to generals and colonels. Because according to David Wilcock, you can't get these coins except from colonels or generals that are giving you briefings, right? Wrong. Wrong, friends. Wrong. Completely and totally wrong. I have one of the same coins. It's been right here in my pocket this entire time that we've been doing this live broadcast. This is the same exact coin that he is holding in one of his hands. And he claimed that the only people who can get these coins are people who are getting secret briefings from high-ranking military officials. That's the claim. And I assure you, we'll do a breakdown. This is the very coin. He shows both sides of it. I'll show both sides of it. This is the exact coin, one of them, that he is showing. It says the same thing. It has the same sigil. It is exactly the same coin. One of them. So how did I get this coin? According to David Wilcock, you can only get one of these coins if you're getting secret briefings from government insiders. Well, that's one version of the story, right? But there is another way. There's another way that and like I said, maybe there's things people don't know about me. Maybe I'm getting top secret briefings from high-ranking military officials, including generals and Air Force colonels. Maybe that's how I got this coin. No. Anybody can get this coin, and anybody can get the other one as well. This is a souvenir. This is a souvenir coin sold at military bases all over the world. This is a Chotsky. It's like a carnival prize, and anybody in the world can get one of these coins. And if you don't believe me, well, if you don't believe me, then I'm going to have to just show you where I got mine. I'd love to tell you that I got my top secret coin from a general or a government insider who was giving me top secret briefings. Man, maybe I missed an opportunity here. I could have grifted off of this shit, right? Or, yeah, you could get one. I guess, maybe he's right. You could get one from an Air Force colonel who's giving you top secret briefings. Or you could just do what I did and buy one on Amazon for $15.99. By the way, the price changed. I paid $17.99. See, I purchased this on November 5th. And by the way, it was Mascario on Twitter who sent me a message about these coins. I'd like to claim credit that I'm some expert on these things, but no. So anybody, oh, let me share it bigger, friends. Anybody with $16 can get one of these coins. This is a terrible bluff. And by the way, you have my word of honor. This is the exact coin that he is showing. And the coin says the same thing that the one shown in the David Wilcock video shows. Aim high, fly, fight, win, colonel. Remember, he said it was an Air Force colonel. United States Air Force. And mine shows the same sigil. I mean, this is where I bought it. I bought it on Amazon. So welcome to Clown World, where Clown David Wilcock is on public live streams on the internet claiming the only place to get these coins is when you're getting secret intel briefings. Secret intel briefings from generals and colonels, and there's no other way to get one of these coins. Well, we just busted you, David Wilcock. We just busted you bad. Aim high, fly, fight, win. This is the same exact coin. Anybody can get one of these coins. And that's easy to prove. I got them. Now, this is the ridiculousness. This is the level of fantasy world that David Wilcock lives in. Now, I don't know. Did he just buy them on Amazon and make up this story? Or is he a gullible idiot and somebody gave him the coin and told him it was from a colonel and you only get them? I don't know. But I do know that he lied through his fake teeth to his audience yet again on another public live stream, claiming you can't get these coins any other place. Regular people can't get these coins. You can only get them in briefings from generals and Air Force colonels. By the way, he didn't even remember who gave him the briefing, an Air Force colonel or a Navy colonel. And by the way, I'm not familiar with ranks. I don't even know if there is a such thing as a Navy colonel. There may be. Yeah. So that's the gotcha moment for tonight. I'm getting secret briefings, bitches. I'm getting secret briefings just like David Wilcock, bitches. Send me some money. Oh, by the way, I forgot, but we did. We have some super chats and people to thank. We want to thank Stoned Ape for a kind and generous $4.99 super chat. Thank you very much. And thanks for sharing the Jaime Musan. We'll share that in a moment. The Jaime Musan graphic. Stoned Ape kindly shared something I needed. I was looking everywhere for that on my computer, Stoned Ape. We showed that months ago and I couldn't find it. We'll show it later. Thank you very much for your kindness, generosity, and support. And Stoned Ape says, the mummies asked me to give you this. Thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support. And then we've got the Rexbox with another kind and generous $5 super chat. Says, praise the cash. F. Wilcock. Yeah. And we have another one. Real Steel Rumblehead. Everybody's throwing $5 at me tonight. I like it. Keep it up. Yeah, because this gotcha moment cost me $18. But I was happy. I took it out of show funds. By the way, this is one of the things that your super chats go towards. We like to have a little bit of money in the till. So when something like this pops up, I know it's only $18, but maybe I'm having a bad month or a bad week and I don't have the money to spare. I don't have to worry about things. I just go in the till, and the $18 to do this great gotcha moment and educate the public about what a liar David Wilcock is right there in the till. And I just order it and don't worry about it. Thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. Real Steel Rumblehead says, nope, you're neutral and sane. Grifter free, bluff free. Can't say that about Davey Boy. Hence your appeal. Dave's appeal, go figure. Money Trail. Yeah, it's really, really ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. But thank you all for your kindness, generosity, and support. So the big takeaway is that David Wilcock, what a childish lie. This is like something a 5-year-old on a playground. Like, look, I got a top secret coin and nobody can get them except from a general. Really, David Wilcock? Is this how desperate David Wilcock is to scam his followers? Is this how desperate he is? This is the fake proof. This is the fake proof that he's getting top secret briefings. This is the fake proof, a coin that anybody can buy for $15 or $20. And by the way, I have been made aware that these coins are available at gift shops at places like Gettysburg. When you visit some historic military place, they have tchotchkes, souvenirs. That's all this is. It's a souvenir coin. That's all it is. And anybody can get them. Anybody can buy them, David Wilcock, you clown. How dare you try to lie to people that you're getting top secret briefings. And here's your proof, a $15 or $20 coin that anybody can order on Amazon. By the way, they're only $9 on eBay. So if you really want one of these, go on eBay and look them up. And by the way, there are hundreds, thousands of these coins. I didn't have time to order both, but they're out there. You can find both of those coins out there in the world. Should anybody find the link to the other coin we didn't already buy, please let me know so I stop looking for it. There's thousands of coins that you have to look through to find the right one. Luckily for us, we want to thank Mascaria, who already found the coin and sent me the link. I just ordered it and brought you this exclusive story. David Wilcock caught lying again about secret briefings. The only thing secret about this, I guess, is the Amazon link. But now, oh, by the way, here, I'm going to add that to the description of our video. 1 second. Let me get over to our YouTube channel. I have to put it, I'm going to put it in the description of the video. So anybody can compare. That's the exact coin that David Wilcock shows, one of them that David Wilcock shows. And I'm just going to put coin from Amazon, and anybody can take a look at that link and see that it is the very same exact coin that David Wilcock lies through his fake teeth and says there's no other way to get these except from a general or an Air Force colonel. This is so childish and so stupid that I'm at a loss. Like, really? That's what you're going to do to prove that you're getting secret briefings? And by the way, I'm told by an inside source, and this is rumors and speculation, take from it what you will, that David Wilcock is freaking out because he's not making the money that he used to make. And he used to live like a millionaire and spend money like water. We saw he spent more than $4,000 on meals and entertainment just from his charity money in 1 year. He's got 2 freezers full of very expensive $40 a pound, I think, $40 a pound, ribeye bison steaks. He's got 2 months worth of those, he said, which means 2 freezers full. Thousands of dollars to have that much steak on hand. So he's freaking out right now because the money's just not coming in. And I'd like to think that people are finally waking up to Super Clown and they're going to stop buying his garbage for $333. We can talk for a moment about the lies again of him claiming to be in contact with the Archangel Michael. There is biblical concept called the test of a prophet. I've explained it here multiple times, but I'm going to explain it one more time just for the benefit, and forgive me, but just for the benefit of anybody that might not have heard me talk about this before. There's a biblical concept called the test of a prophet, which essentially says that a prophet would only, if a prophet is truly communicating with God or divine sources, like angels, they can't be wrong once. They cannot be wrong once with the information that they are claiming is coming from God or the divine source. David Wilcock is claiming he's in communication with the Archangel Michael, and that his latest $333 course all came from the Archangel Michael. Yet there is completely and totally factually inaccurate information already being put forth in the first of his, what has he got, 6 or 7 of these books full of drivel he claims come from an angel. And there's factually inaccurate. There are wrong, there is bad, fake, false information right in one of his first books, the first book. In that, he claimed that Archangel Michael told him that Corey Goode's information was very accurate. It can't be, because Corey Goode admitted under oath he's never been to space. Therefore, he's a secret space clown that has never been to space. Why would an angel prop up a grifter who claimed for 8 years to be going on secret space missions but never did? The truth is, an angel would not do that. So right there, David Wilcock fails the test of a prophet. And but we're going to start going through this. I have the wrong copy of the video. Yeah, I have to get my copy of the video, because David Wilcock's videos are filled with, like, he cranks up the ads to ridiculous annoying. So let me get over to we mirror those so that, and by the way, anybody that wants the link to this is you know, I can't put it out ad free, but it's David Wilcock's latest video. And we're going to go through just a little bit. I'm not going through this whole thing. The highlight was the fake coins. And then the rest of this is all Pete Peterson said. Pete Peterson said. Pete Peterson said. Pete Peterson was a complete and total fraud. There's the quick version. Why would we care about anything that somebody who's been caught lying so many times has to say about the state of the world or whatever else? Wise Monkey is here and says, secret space clowns, they're classified. Only Grush and Lou know about them. Yes. Trolly Troll says, David Wilcock is a prophet, spelled with an F, all right. He profits off the gullibility of his cult-like followers. Yeah, I agree. It's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, and they do. They defend him and get nasty if you try to bring these things up. Yeah, and Doubleday Elements says, you must show the coin to gain backstage access to the Wilcock events. Yeah, and by the way, I just want to mention that Art and Paranormal has been put back as a moderator. So it's not the Wild West anymore. And if you need help or you have questions and I don't see your question, Art and Paranormal will be happy to help you and has a direct line to me also when things go wrong. And by the way, I want to thank Art and Paranormal, because over the weekend I made a mistake. And like I said, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. We have been playing these Truthseekers classics on nights where we're not live. I, by accident, set 2 of them to go play at the same time. So we had 2 premieres on Saturday night and none on Sunday. I didn't catch that. I did wonder why there were so few people at the premiere, but it turns out that the people were split between 2 premieres. And I want to thank each and every one of you for who watched. So if you did watch one and missed the other, please get caught up there in the video section here. Yes, we have a moderator now, and we're going to keep it very, very light. We're going to have as few moderators as we want to. We're going to get into David Wilcock's latest video. I can't tell you any of this because it's classified. Well, then why are you making a public YouTube video about it? Right? Does this make any sense? Oh, I'm getting classified briefings, and then I'm going to go on YouTube and talk about it for 2 hours. You would face jail time if you really did that. But again, don't let things like facts and evidence get in the way of a good fake story that you could sell, right? And again, most of this whole thing is him talking about Pete Peterson. Pete Peterson was a fake and a fraud and a con artist. Why would we care what a con artist had to say about the state of the world or anything else?
Welcome everybody. It's David. I'm here. I made it. Because you guys are actually like gambling on this stuff, I said, well, why don't I just blow everybody's mind and wear
who's blue, gambling on whether he goes live or not?
Whatever other colors you were expecting, but pink. Yes. Yes. To show one's true manhood, one must embrace the pink that can be worn. For it is only then that the true core of masculinity is discovered, when the hard outer shell has been cracked.
It's so cringe
formed around it.
This guy is so cringe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's David.
I'm in a really good mood this week, folks, and I've got a really great show for you. Let's just make sure that everybody...
And by the way...
okay, you're talking about pink shirts, and you're all...
David Wilcock's titles were always whatever nonsensical nonsense he was talking about. He did not previously do the third phase of Moon, let's just clickbait this title so that everybody clicks on it to see what it's about. He doesn't talk about anything classified during this entire broadcast. You know how I know that? Because he would have got arrested by now if he did. So this is clickbait garbage peddling at its finest. And now he has resorted to that as a method to get views. And by the way, there's something really wrong with his view counts. I'm aware, and even he commented on this, oh, we have 2,000 live viewers. Somewhere around the middle of his broadcast, he said, oh, we have 2,000 live viewers. Or maybe it was towards the end. I don't remember. But the important part is I can monitor his live event and see, yeah, he had 2,000 live viewers. Yet throughout most of his live broadcast for 2 hours, he had 2,000 live viewers. Yet somehow, the moment that the video was over, he had 12 or 15,000 views. That's an impossibility, friends. I've been a YouTuber for years. You might have 2 times the average live viewer amount, and that's from people jumping in and out. Many of you people stream hop. And hey, I do it too. I go to a live stream, I listen for 5 minutes. If I'm not really thinking, oh, I want to listen to this whole thing, I check out another live stream. That's the reason why you could have 2,000 live viewers and maybe you'll have 4,000 or 5,000 when the stream ends, because people jump in and out. But you wouldn't have 12 or 15,000 unless somebody's buying views. And by the way, that's just my opinion based on being a YouTuber for years and knowing full well how YouTube works. You don't have 2,000 live viewers for the majority of your 2-hour broadcast. And then as soon as your broadcast ends, you have 12 to 15,000 views. That's not how this works. So something's not right with his metrics. And we have previously caught him using bot accounts before. There was a time when all the names in the live chat, or most of them, turned into porn names for about 10 minutes. That's the surefire sign of somebody using a bot farm. And by the way, Mr. Wilcock had access to a bot farm because that's what Falun Gong used that got them banned from YouTube for, well, they got banned for multiple things. But anyway.
All happy. That's good. That means we're on the air. Woo, it's been a great week. We had fantastic developments occur with the company.
Yeah, they did have fantastic developments occur with the company. He got sued again. There's 3 lawsuits against the company. You think he's going to address any of those? No, he's going to tell you how great the company's going. He's going to lie.
We passed due diligence. We're now on track for capital that might even satisfy all of our needs. They're talking about...
Yeah. Oh, we're getting new investors. Who's going to invest in David Wilcock's company if they see those court documents that a past investor is calling their company an investment scam and a Ponzi scheme? Who's going to invest in a company that doesn't pay their bills, who is currently being sued by 2 separate people who worked for them that they didn't pay? Who's going to invest in them? But hey, let's not let facts and reality get in the way of a good fantasy.
Down the road doing an IPO. I don't know if we're going to do that or not.
Yeah, they're going to take a company public that's being sued for investment scams. Sure.
He didn't really ever want it to be public. And part of that is because we're developing this weird secret technology.
It's not weird or secret. He says he's using Salvador Pius patents, which would be illegal, but don't let that get in the way of a good story you could sell.
But I wanted to get into these very contentious topics where I can't tell you any of this because it's classified. Come on, really?
Yeah, it could be. They're going to want their money back if they do.
This is a big deal. Actually, I have learned a whole lot of things over the years that have made me convinced that the real story, what's really going on out there, is so much bigger than we think.
Yeah, I don't know what's
going on. And there's some
on.
very, very interesting and strange stuff that there is to know. And this isn't anything new. This is a process that's been going on for a very long time.
Yeah, he could license them.
So I wanted to, somebody was asking on the comments if I was going to talk again about the horrible trip that I had to Los Angeles. No. A lot of people were asking about more dietary advice based on the last show.
Yeah.
I didn't really plan on going into diet in this
show. For those
show.
unaware, in the last stream, David Wilcock gave health, medical, and nutrition advice for 2 hours straight. He's not a doctor. He's not a nutritionist. He's not a trained health professional. And it's against YouTube terms of service for someone like him to be giving health advice, especially telling people you're going to die if you eat wheat. He said you're going to die if you eat that.
So I like to have a little variety, and it's been a while since I was on the air. I spent 2 years working on Michael Prophecies, but now I'm at the point where I feel very comfortable with what's happening in the world in light of what Michael said in these books. This is Archangel Michael, and again, if you don't know my background, it starts out in college. So let's go to that slide where I was a student and I started.
Oh, he was getting stunning disclosure breakthroughs. No, he wasn't.
Pieces of information coming my way from a friend of mine whose physics professor was the head of the department. And this friend was arguably the best student in the class. He was really loved by the professor. They had private student-teacher conferences together to talk about physics. And he, was just a very bright kid who was really happy to get more information.
An unnamed anonymous
the rest
source.
Of the class was quite done and satisfied at the end of the 2-hour lecture. What we learned from this head of the physics department was that all of the modern niceties that we have regarding things like computer chips, fiber optics, Teflon, Velcro, LED lights, all these weird, interesting technologies, but again, computer chips being one of the most important ones, and lasers, actually, all apparently came from crashed disks that were real.
No, this is completely and totally debunked, fake garbage. This is garbage, absolute fake information. And I'm telling you that, having been involved in the computer industry for my entire lifetime. Computer chips did not come from alien technology. That's a falsehood started by Philip Corso, whose book it has been largely panned as a hoax and a joke, a cash out. There is an entire history that proves the development of things like Velcro, lasers, integrated circuits, computer chips were entirely and totally man-made. This is complete and total garbage. So tell us what college professor told you this. He's claiming a college professor told him this. Like, oh, I got a big disclosure in college from a college professor, a physics professor. Show me a real physics professor that believes that. Besides Eric Davis or Hal Puthoff, I mean, those two are alien wackadoos. Nobody else would believe that. There is an established history of these things. This is completely and totally fake, false information. And he's also not crediting Philip Corso, who popularized and came up with those ideas, not some college professor.
And therefore, you start finding out that, oh, well, Roswell, which I'd already heard about by this point, and I guess it was 1993, Roswell was real. And, there's a lot of chatter around that.
So he's going to steal Philip Corso's story from his book, but claim it was from another source that told him that.
None of the Roswell stuff adds up because the first thing they did announce to the public on the headline was that they found a flying saucer.
Can you tell he's desperate for material? He's stealing from a 20-year-old book, Philip Corso's Day After Roswell.
And it's pretty unequivocal when you make that type of a declaration. And everybody was very saucer crazy because the Kenneth Arnold sightings had only occurred mere weeks before. The Kenneth Arnold sightings were only 10 days before the Roswell crash. And this was where the term flying saucer got coined. And,
oh my God, he's going all the way back to Roswell and Kenneth Arnold.
And he was seeing
he's desperate for
objects
material
of very high speed that looked like flying saucers over Mount Rainier in Washington State. And this electrified the country. And then all of a sudden we have one of them crash very soon after the term.
One second. What just happened? Sorry about that. Wow, that's weird. 1 second. I don't know what happened. The video just popped out. I'm sorry. Maybe for those unaware, I am visually impaired. So occasionally I'll push a button. I'm just sitting here listening to it, not realizing that you guys aren't listening to it. So I apologize. And I retitled his video, David Wilcock Lies Live.
Resolutely against hearing anything about it because, oh, well, I believe in the Bible. You got to go to BibleRealityCheck.com, as I've said before, where you'll then find writings about how, yeah, you know what? There's references to flying saucers and angelic human extraterrestrials all over the place in the Old Testament and the New Testament. The Bible is the...
Yeah, there are angels in the Bible. They are never referenced as aliens from other star systems. That's a leap that David Wilcock is making in order to sell his stupid followers on the aliens that he's already talked about for 20 plus years that he's never proven are real.
This incredible catalog of contact experiences. And this is not something that is often talked about. People don't think it's Christian necessarily.
I'm talking about his hover car company are broke.
UFOs with anything positive.
29 years old.
Very strange and sad bias to try to make the entire UFO question.
And John, are you aware, have they been collecting investor money for 29 years now and they've still never produced a single airplane for 29 years? I wasn't aware it was 29 years. I thought it was 20. 29 years, David Wilcock's shady aerospace company has been in business, I believe, soliciting investor money for all these great things they're going to do, and they haven't done anything yet. But hey, they're going to build hover cars, right? Sure they are.
Something that's very dark and ominous and scary and, you know, not at all healthy for humanity. And I get that. I know there's a lot of xenophobia. I know there's a lot of fear in our past.
Yeah, no worries. I just feel stupid because I was sitting there listening to it, not realizing you guys
where they came from and all this. But I started to discover that, wait a minute, it's not even a theoretical question anymore.
The angels in the Bible are space Jews.
Things like Roswell, these are real. These are crashes of actual extraterrestrial hardware. And I say to myself, well, this is
extraterrestrial hardware. John Spadavecchia, who, by the way, is a researcher writing a book about Stavati Aerospace, says, I can confirm from multiple sources that they have never made a plane. But the first confirmation of an outside investment in the company is Dmitriev in spring 2022. I believe that how did they survive for 29 years, though, without investment capital? I'm going to call them and ask, John. I'll call them and say, how long have you guys been collecting public investments.
This is really incredible. I mean, what are we learning about
Hey, the mediator, good to
the
see you
universe
here.
besides
Mediator
the fact that we
is
got
here.
okay, LED lights, computer chips, Teflon.
Again, we didn't get any of that shit from
infrared night vision, laser beams. I mean, that right there is the only reason why.
That right there is lies. We did not get. How would you feel? Let's say you were like the grandson of the guys who invented lasers. How would you feel knowing that David Wilcock is lying his ass off, denying your grandfather's contribution to science, saying that aliens gave us laser technology? It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous that he is lying, and he is, do you know that a woman is credited? I think a woman is credited for inventing Velcro, right? Or was involved. So he's shitting all over women inventors and contributors to science saying this stuff. It's false reality. Oh, aliens gave us this technology. No, humans invented that stuff. And there's a documented history of where all that stuff came from. It didn't come from aliens, David, no matter how much you want to believe.
We have the ability to do this show right now and stream it live online. If we didn't have that UFO endowment,
if we didn't have the alien technology, I couldn't live stream.
And we would have had controlled, centralized media where the only voice you get to hear is the one they want you to hear. But now you have your options, you have choices in place, and that's a good thing. So here we are talking about this technology while also using it. And that's what's so ironic is that
for your contribution,
these extraterrestrials do not just appear theoretically in old scriptures. They're appearing in modern times, and they're giving us incredible hand-me-downs. They're giving us Christmas gifts that are of vast significance in terms of giving us a better life
M400
and a life in which we can actually have the freedom and autonomy to say what we want to say, to speak our minds, and to have this type of contact with each other. This ability for communication is wonderful. I love live streaming. By the way, let's...
Yeah, but there's a difference. A viewer is mentioning this, the Mahler M400 Skycar, which is a very, very interesting aircraft. And they try to make that thing work for 30 years. But the difference is that they had working prototypes. David Wilcock has never shown a working anything. Nothing that he showed has ever, flown. And here's more from the same inventor. He tried to invent flying cars for 30 years and he failed. But David Wilcock claims that him and his shady company that's never produced a single airplane is going to be able to succeed where everybody else failed. Sure.
Let's read. If I dare, let's read some comments. Heather Cross says, I'm so happy to see you again. It's just wonderful. I missed you while you're away. Sending you love and light, my friend.
Yeah, he was wrong on everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Namaste, David. My best thoughts, wishes, and love are for you and with you always. It's more likely crashed human-made hardware.
I agree.
Well, there's definitely a lot of human-made stuff out there, but the original stuff
never know
was clearly not anything that was made by us. Back at the time of Roswell,
he better pay those taxes or he is going to end up in prison.
And when you get into the slides and you start to hear about
you need the
things that various insiders were telling me, the story becomes very, very compelling and interesting.
I agree.
And it just keeps getting more interesting and more compelling as time goes on. Let's just move that a little bit.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
I'm very excited to be here.
We can't invent
because
things.
There's so much going on right now in the world, and I see it building up to a mass disclosure event that is much bigger than anything we could have imagined. This is a really intrinsic point here that I've heard from all of my different insiders, and that is that we are not alone in the universe. The stuff that you see that was built
from his insiders, like
10,000 years ago, that looks like a decaying stone monument, these higher level extraterrestrials could have done it just now. They're outside of time. They travel through time. They're not bound by any type of linearity as we would normally think of.
I love how he states all these things as statement of facts without any supporting evidence to prove anything that he's saying is a fact.
And so if they wanted to go back 10,000 years and say, we forgot about that, we ought to build another pyramid over here, they could do it 10,000 years ago and we would never know the difference, because for them it just happened and for us It's always been there. So this type of time travel is one of the things that.
So first Roswell's real, and we got all our technology from aliens. Now time travel. We'll get into the time travel.
Our own scientists discovered these flying saucers will naturally do things like the Roswell crash. When you actually get
yes,
to
his followers are
them,
easily manipulated.
Find out that wow, they actually are also time machines. And in fact, the Germans called their first saucer project Kronos because of its command over time. So this is really interesting stuff.
Yeah, and most of the so-called Nazi flying saucers have been proven hoaxes. The Honeyboo, all that stuff was fake. Victor repulsion engine, nothing worked. The only real Nazi project that seems to be real to me was the Nazi Bell project. There's just too much evidence that they were attempting to create something there. And that was in Poland. For those unaware, I'm Polish, and I'm deeply aware of the history of that place and the henge where they apparently created it. But all the other so-called flying saucer projects of the Nazis has largely been proven to be fake. And here he is essentially repeating fake lies from Nazi Fourth Reich wannabes, Nazi wannabes, who after the war created this fiction that the Nazis had these wonder weapons.
And the disclosure they would have won college really got me started.
They would have won the war.
But then what really took off was when I saw the Disclosure Project in 2001.
The Glocka, yes. Yes, Chris G.
So let's be clear that in 2001, I had already been online for 5 years looking for UFO information.
Yeah, and he likes to grift off the fact that he went to the Disclosure Project. He wasn't involved in the Disclosure Project. Not that that would be a badge of honor, because look who run that. The other biggest grifter in UFO land besides him, Stephen Greer. But he loves to grift off the fact that he went to those hearings.
And I'd listen to Richard C. Hogland.
Nothing at those hearings was ever proven to be real. And we're 20, what are we? That was 2001, right before 9/11. So we're 22 years past the Disclosure Project and all the things that people said. Hey, great stories from wackadoos like Mark McCandlish, but may he rest in peace. I did like his artwork. And Clifford Stone, alien wackadoo. Nothing that people talked about during that event was ever definitively proven to be real or true. So who cares? But don't let that get in the way of a good story.
He was always talking about the face on Mars. And so I was entirely convinced that there was a face on Mars.
Now he's going to grift off of
actually
Hogland.
Artificially generated to look like a human face. It's not a natural mountain. It's not a weird.
That was a trick of light and shadow.
Because not only
trick of light and shadow,
like
David, wasn't real.
Face that has a headdress.
Hogland was wrong on that.
Headdress. On both sides, it's very symmetrical. It has two eyes, it has a nose, it has a mouth, and it's sitting there a mile wide.
No, it's an image that appears to have two eyes, a nose, and a mouth. But further examination proved that that was a natural plateau on a Mars mesa, and there was no face or monument. Richard Hogland was wrong about all of that, and he grifted off of that for 20 plus years. I think he's still trying to pretend that that was real and that there's a cover up.
On the floor of the mesa around this whole area of Mars. Then right next to it is a city of what looks like four-sided Egyptian pyramids. And then immediately to the south
it's natural rocks. That's been proven as well. David's wrong here again.
Is the so-called DiPetro and Molinar or D&M pyramid.
It's not a pyramid. It's a natural rock formation.
It looks like a pentagonal type.
No, it's a mountain.
What's even more interesting,
it's not a pyramid,
is that the
David's
shape
wrong
of the
here
pyramid
again.
is not a perfect pentagon.
So
it's just
so far. Listen, we're only 12 minutes in, and he's already given completely and totally historically, factually inaccurate information about Roswell. Completely and totally factually inaccurate information about lasers, Velcro, night vision, and all those other technologies, integrated circuits that did not come from alien technology. Then he talks about time travel, and now he's talking about the face on Mars and the Martian city and pyramids being real. All of that is debunked as completely and totally fake. But, So we're only 12 minutes in, and he's already lied to his audience and given them completely worthless fake information that has been proven to be fake information time and time again for 20 plus years. We're only 12 minutes in.
Distorted in the shape of Leonardo da Vinci's Vitruvian Man, which means that it precisely illustrates the proportions of the human body, which strongly suggests that people with human bodies built that pyramid. But
no, they didn't. It's pareidolia. Those are natural formations, David Wilcock, you clown.
It's on a dead, old planet. And so part of the scholarship that Hogland was talking about was the exploded planet hypothesis. The idea that, okay, maybe the asteroid belt is not something that was always there. Maybe before it was asteroids, it was actually a planet, and the planet blew up.
Maybe.
So Richard C. Hoagland went through this in great detail.
And maybe monkeys might fly out of my butt. It doesn't prove that it's real.
Dr. Thomas Van Flandren, the exploded planet hypothesis. You can take all the comets in our solar system, the dirty ice snowballs. Turns out that's the ocean that came off of this planet. Then you look at the asteroids, and
no,
you
that's
have
not true.
All of the
that's
different components.
All the comets in our solar system did not come from Martian oceans. That's completely and totally garbage.
That you would expect to see in the mantle, in the core, in the crust, all the different layers of the Earth are represented in the Jovian asteroids. So are they really just asteroids, or was there something there before that? Well, it appears that there was a planet there before that, and it appears that Mars was in a gravitational capture with this. So Mars actually has this weird tidal distribution.
I don't think this is accurate information. I think this is more conspiracy and nonsense.
Each side of
but I'd have to check, and I haven't
around
yet.
The equatorial regions, not the polar regions. There's these groupings of water on either side that can be seen in the location of water ice today. And so Richard C. Hoagland worked with the great Mike Barra, who's an awesome researcher. And together, the two of them...
Mike Barra, who shows pictures in his books of like 1960s era moon, photos, and claims that there are crystalline skyscrapers and cities on the moon. No, those are grainy ass photos where you're seeing what you want to see. For those unaware, all of Mike Barra's garbage moon theories were blown out of the water the minute that there were orbiters. People aren't aware, but there are moon orbiters, both from the United States, from India, of all countries, China, and Russia. All have moon satellites that take high quality photos now of the lunar surface. And if you compare Mike Barra's garbage photos from the 1960s to current high quality, high resolution scans, you see there's nothing there where Mike Barra said. So he just called Mike Barra an excellent researcher. I disagree.
Came out with this captured moon hypothesis where there was a planet. It was Earth-like. It was probably inhabited.
Yeah, the one that hangs out in
That's
Wacky
what we hear
Land,
from
Amy
all these
Collins,
insider
with Richard
reports.
Hogland. Yes.
And there was a war that led to this planet being destroyed. And again, Mars would have looked like another watery Earth up in the sky. It would have been a
Mike
moon,
Barra is a tool.
but
says
instead of
Foxy
our moon,
Friends.
which
Can't
is
say I
all dead and
disagree.
dry and gray, this would be a really beautiful blue jewel in the night sky. And some people have ancestral memories of places like this.
They
It shows up in a
photoshopped
lot
the
of
Crystal
visionary
Palaces
artwork that you
out.
find online.
Yes, they do.
But in this case, I'm really talking about something that happened in our solar system that may very well have been talked about in movies like Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars is a documentary
Wars could very
again.
well be some type of documentary.
It's a documentary.
Only loosely disguised. That's one of the things that I
He
really...
just said Star Wars is a documentary, friends. It doesn't get any more wackier than this. Welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock, where Star Wars is a documentary, right? Completely and totally garbage, man.
We covered in
Garbage
Prophecies
information.
is that George Lucas was apparently drawing off of a lot of 1950s contactee information when he made Star Wars, and this includes...
No, he wasn't. Not that I'm aware of, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. I've never heard that. He was drawing off of the hero's journey, first of all, and from King Arthur, was one of his big inspirations, and the family dynamic of royal families and things like that. I've never heard this before in my life, but hey.
This is the idea of Archangel Michael with his sword of light, which becomes the Jedi, and they have their lightsabers. The whole idea of the Jedi being in some type of galactic alliance is very much related to what the Law of One calls the confederation of planets in service of the one infinite creator. And then all the stuff with Darth Vader and the fact that he's got
Star Wars is real. And then later in this, he says that Stargate and SG-1 were also documentaries. Stargate and SG-1 were also documentaries. Come on. So now Stargate SG-1 was real, and so was Star Wars. I mean, how much of a space cadet do you have to be? We're going to jump ahead here.
UFO literature, which I had always wanted to kind of stay away from up until then, and that was Nichols and Moon's
I agree with that.
book,
the science supports that, the media.
the Montauk Project.
Now he's,
and I'm thinking of
how
myself,
many busted
this Preston Nichols
fake
guy.
How many fake hoax, fake stories is he's going to? So we're already, technology came from Roswell. There's crystal palaces on the moon, the face of Mars, and there's a whole city there of pyramids, and the Nazi flying saucer program Kronos, that was fake. And then let's pile on top of that Star Wars was basically a documentary. Now he's talking about the Montauk Project. And for those unaware, it was a gay man, Preston Nichols, that liked to watch other men masturbate in front of him. That's what that was about. A lot of gay sex and masturbation. It wasn't reality. It was completely and totally fake stories made up by fake people to sell to stupid people. David Wilcock bought it hook, line, and sinker.
I don't
know. To know.
It's just, it doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. They're trying to say that they used a SAGE radar system on Montauk Point, Long Island, that they were able to turn this radar unit, which is a really big banana-shaped dish aerial, into some type of directed energy thing.
Yeah, introduce in the video game, so start using that for material.
And could cause people to
James Rink loves it. Yeah,
kind
of course they do.
They were apparently messing around with this SAGE radar and getting these very strange effects. And then if you read the book, which now appears to be predominantly an accurate disclosure, I don't know about any of the ones after the first one, but definitely the first one.
It's an accurate disclosure from a guy who used to make other men masturbate in front of him. Great. David Wilcock's into masturbation parties, I guess, then, because he thinks that's an accurate disclosure.
To Dr. Bruce Perret.
Montauk monsters, basically Stranger Things is all real, according to David Wilcock.
That they had a Roswell type of crash. There's been a number of them. They've got these recovered discs that they've kept in storage in places like warehouses like Area 51. And sure enough,
oh my God, this is so stupid.
They took the seats out of one of these craft. They hooked up the seat to a power supply.
Yeah, the seat.
And they found out that the seat itself is a time machine.
It's all a time machine.
The chair. The chair is intended to create a psychic interface with the person sitting in the chair, such that your mind now has the ability.
Yeah, this is all Montauk garbage that has been largely debunked. And by the way, David Wilcock, did you go to Montauk, Long Island? Because I did. Guess what there isn't anything of? There is no underground bases there. I know. I jumped the fence and looked for them a long time ago. So I can use the statute of limitations to prevent any... Derek wants me to have David Wilcock on as a guest. Go ask him to do that. He's never going to do that. We bust him for all his lies. We're the ones telling the truth about his shady aerospace company that's being sued by... two companies and one individual who claims that it was an investment scam and Ponzi scheme. We're the ones that released the information about his aerospace company's only source of income being a garbage dumpster company that is renting his airplane hangar to store their garbage dumpsters in. He's not going to want to come here and talk about the reality. He lives in a fantasy world full of lies. And we're going to skip way ahead, friends, because he just goes on and on and on. He repeats stuff that let's get to the Stargate and Babylon are
day,
real.
and we watched a variety of TV shows together. We watched Charmed was one of the ones that he said had a lot of weird cabal stuff in it. So we went through all the Charmed.
One of his wacky friends told him that Stargate's real.
But then two that he both felt were loaded with disclosure was Stargate SG-1 and Babylon 5. And again, he said both were loaded with disclosure. Now,
both were loaded with disclosure.
Babylon 5, there was something called the Psi Core, and he wasn't sure if that's what it really was, but he had talked about this, the idea
and this
of
is Pete,
teeps and teeps.
Pete Peterson he's talking
and
about.
And that is a telepath, or TP, and a telekinetic, or TK.
Isn't it great that a complete and total fraud and a con artist told him these things, and he's just repeating it as fact? Awesome.
So what I found out was that he had been invited into a program that was, we called it the CIA Psychic Training Program, but it was probably also called PsyCorps. And PsyCorps, if we'll use that name, was a program that would teach people to become assassins either telepathically or telekinetically. That's essentially what they wanted to get out of it. If you were,
and again, he's talking about Pete Peterson, the guy who lied and said he worked for Ronald Reagan, the guy who lied and said he worked for the Russian Space Federation, the guy who lied and said he got the Order of Lenin Award, the guy who lied and said that he had a company, computer company that beat Apple and everybody else to market. Yeah, that guy who lied about his entire background and all of his lies about his work history is telling David Wilcock this stuff, and he's just repeating it all. And again, in the description of this video is a 2-hour debunk of what a fraud, liar, and con artist that Pete Peterson person was.
Telekinetic assassin, you could be assassinated by the pinching of the carotid artery in the neck, causing a
telekinetic assassins. This is getting good.
The brain doesn't get oxygen for 60 seconds.
Telekinetic assassins.
So that was apparently the goal of the teeks. And then the goal of the teep or telepath would be to influence someone to do it to themselves. And again, both of these techniques are straight ahead black magic. You should not ever do this unless your desire is to be tortured in the lower astrals, or what we would call hell. So then he told me that there was a score that you would get of a P0, which would be like an average person. Oh man,
this is
P10.
so stupid. All right, you know what? We're going to take a break on that for a minute, because breaking more information and this one comes from Macario. It's Macario Mend, at Macario, MACARIOMEND on Twitter, who shared an excellent article with me from military.com about another of the scams or shady business dealings of Stavati Aerospace. It's the kind of proposal that makes sci-fi dorks, including this one, quiver with anticipation. A 1999 design found by Defense Review for a real-life laser rifle. So when I read about it on far-out sounding gas dynamic laser weapon on Slashdot, I fell for it without reading too carefully. I bought the gobbledygook about Stavati Corporation using streams of carbon dioxide, nitrogen, and helium gases to help generate pulses of laser light. And I swallowed when I called the company and was told that the president was out of town looking for government funding. But Defense Tech's readers are smarter than this editor, and they immediately called BS, looks like an April Fool's gag, on how several readers described the rifle's design. A very elaborate gag, added another. Obviously written by an insider. A third noted newsgroup post from 2002 calling Stavati's designs for an F-26 airplane into question. But the kicker came from Stavati's own website. The company is the first in history to double as a drum maker and a defense contractor, you see. Stavati Percussion conducts the retail sale of percussion products. Stavati's founder and current CEO, Christopher Beskar, plays the bagpipes. Early in his piping career, Mr. Beskar joined a bagpipe band. This band was in need of drummers to play the snare and accompaniment of the pipes. Mr. Beskar's brother, Sean, joined a band and became an accomplished pipe band snare drummer capable of grade 2 competition while yet in high school. Great. So Stavati, who's supposed to be an aircraft manufacturer, Stavati builds space fighters, the company websites say. We know that threats are out there. A 9mm just won't cut it, and when you are facing 30-foot tall insectoids. or reptile alien overlords from Rigel. To battle those baddies, of course, you need a laser rifle. There's more. Stavati CEO Chris Beskar insists his company is legit, but he can't produce a single customer for his high-tech arms business. In a phone interview from a Virginia hotel room, Beskar claims that he has 60 people in the company, but when pressed, admits that all but 3 are essentially assisting on a pro bono basis. He also says he sees nothing wrong with the company trying to market laser rifles and drums at the same time. Yamaha, he notes, makes drums, pianos, and motorcycles. What about the statement on his site about using Stavati guns to stop alien overlords? It indicates a little bit of classified work, he replies. So Stavati once claimed that they were developing laser weapons. And this is back in 2002. Are we starting to see a pattern of lies and deception and garbage peddling from Stavati? I think so. Back to the video.
P10 as a teak is a very powerful telekinetic. A P10
people with
telepath is again
superpowers.
very powerful. Apparently, even the best channelers and natural psychics, no matter how good they were, these government programs had never been able to find anybody above a P4.
Oh, a P4.
That's what he said. So if you wanted to get P5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you had to.
All right, we're going to fast forward. I can't listen to all this. I'm sorry. I'm just not into listening to, an extra hour of David Wilcock's babble to tell you what, that he's lying, that this is fake information. This information is worthless. Let's get to the Pete Peterson stuff. And I want to see the coin part again because it's funny.
Don't believe that I've had multiple briefings as if I need to do this, but okay, look.
I got mine. I got my coin.
I got 2 challenge coins.
I got my challenge coin from Amazon.com for $16.
And one of these is an Iron Eagle. Okay, so
I got an Iron Eagle.
Get coins like these from people.
I got an Iron Eagle coin. I'm getting briefings.
As a colonel in the Navy.
I'm getting briefings. Secret briefings.
Or Air Force, rather. Wait a minute. This is Navy. I got to get this right.
I didn't even know what my coin is. Oh, it's from the Air Force.
Anyway, that's the kind of stuff that happens when you talk to real insiders. They give you challenge coins. We're going to start making our own.
You get special coins when you're getting briefings.
But
I didn't buy it on Amazon. I got a briefing.
And so again,
so ridiculous.
The insiders have told me that I have to suspect that if anybody comes here, that it's a murder.
Oh, they're trying to murder him.
So please do not come to my house. You will be considered a security threat, and I have to deal with it as such.
Oh, he's got to deal with it.
So I'm not going to be happy. I'm not going to be excited. I'm not going to be thrilled about it. I have to assume that this is a subterfuge of some kind. So I'm going to try to do more events, and I want to speak to you one-on-one. They were being controlled. They didn't know they were slaves. They didn't know they were under control.
Now he talks about
They didn't
sex
know what was
slaves,
really
too.
going on.
Right.
They didn't know that there's this very, very dark stuff happening.
Yeah,
And
I'm an
that this group
insider.
has been
I got a
trying to lower how
coin.
many
I'm
people-
getting briefings.
People are here.
I'm getting briefings. I bought it on Amazon for $15.
Long time. And again, that's what nuclear war was all about. Take the old submarines, plug them into the underground cities, and now we can live down there or off planet, and we're
That's
happy.
so funny.
In the meantime, we'll just let the Earth
I
settle
got
on
a
the
super
surface. They
secret
really
coin.
were thinking this way. These people are crazy.
I'm getting briefings. Come on, David. Get some more slides going.
So again, it's going to be noteworthy to bring this back. Quotes from Pete's original interview with Project Camelot.
Okay, so now we're
And this is the
quoting.
transcript.
And by the way, you know who else sold the Pete Peterson lies? Carrie Cassidy. You know, the woman that uses murderers for sources of alien stories. The woman that uses court-martialed child predators. That guy, Bill Brockrader, he's on the run. He's a fugitive from justice. But David Wilcock and Carrie Cassidy milk that guy for fake stories, right? A child predator. And she also uses murderers. So why would she not use a con artist? Remember, this Pete Peterson that he's so proud of quoting is a complete and total con artist, grifter, scammer, caught in multiple scams before he died.
That, you can
But
take
hey,
that.
what did he say about the alliance, right?
He said about where he was living, I'm at an area that had 2 requirements
totally
for me
reliable
for some of the
source,
people
a
who I
con
do
artist.
various things for that are not
Yeah,
named.
a guy who runs
One of
pump and
them
dump
is
stock
this area
scams
very
is a
secluded
great
from
source
man-made
for
electromagnetic
information about
radiation.
aliens.
It's deep in a valley with high mountains surrounding it 360 degrees. I have a similar thing. The entrance is through a very narrow, long, winding canyon, so we don't really get radio or television here directly. And the power that comes in has interference on it as well as information on it, but it's very secluded information.
I agree, Foxy's. He did cool it
Then the
on begging
place
for
that I
money.
chose here is kind of back in a little notch in the mountains, so it's even more secluded. That was one reason. The other reason
why would
is
anybody,
I'm in an area that's
let's just say this. Why would anybody care what a lifelong con artist, right? What a lifelong con artist said. But hey, he's using the alliance term, which is a Q grift. It's a Q grift, right? Let's just skip this. This is so stupid. They had higher knowledge. They stayed behind so they could apply the knowledge that they had. Oh, come on, man. What is the next thing? Then he's going to tell you about what's really happening with the insiders that he has. All of his insiders are con artists and frauds. Let's just review his insiders. Pete Peterson, lifelong con artist who ran pump and dump stock scams and GoFundMe scams. Emery Smith, who ran a PayPal donation scam claiming that he was under attack by the deep state when he was really under attack by a bottle of vodka. He was in the hospital for alcohol poisoning. That's been confirmed. Who's his other? Secret space clown that lied about going on secret space adventures for 8 years, then told the truth under oath he'd never even been to space, right? These are his insiders. Why would you listen to him tell you about his insiders? His insiders are all frauds, apparently.
What he knew was Major Robert Dean. Bob Dean's real story was
now he's going to use deeper. Bob Dean.
He wanted to come forward, but then that never was able to happen. He wanted to tell a lot more than he ever had.
Yeah, I haven't prepped for the 3 days of darkness.
He'd been in all the same stuff
either.
as Uncle Jack and Jacob. Yeah,
the
Jacob,
Grifter clan has
Pete
rejected
Peterson,
Wilcock
Henry
because he
Deacon,
gives
they
other
all have been
grifters
through
a
the
bad
same
name, says Martin Taylor.
So
You're right.
very few. This is one of the things that they really need to learn. Okay, you could even be as far along as one of the Clintons and never get shown any of this stuff. Bill Clinton was out there.
Oh yeah, it's 27 levels above top secret, and even the president doesn't have access to this. And KMM, I always said Kimmy, and I'm sorry for that, but I don't know how else to say that. Kimmy I 77, I guess. His next live stream will be about how other people with the coins are secret disinformation agent. No! I'm getting briefings, Kimmy. I got the same coin as David Wilcock. I'm getting briefings, secret briefings from generals, damn it. You can't get this coin any other way. Kimmy 77, I must be getting briefings. Or I spent $15 on Amazon. What a clown show this is. What a goddamn clown show.
He tried to poke into the UFO subject as president, and he got nowhere. And I wouldn't expect Hillary to have gotten much farther. You can literally get that far up the chain, and they are never going to tell you anything at all. And then they might get sassy and be like, well, David Wilcock, how did I know? How does he know all of it? Well, look, it's...
Yeah, all of your information is fake, bro.
Just a question of talking to the...
Look, this stream is a typical example. Look how much fake nonsense David Wilcock talked about. He talked about the fake Philip Corso information. He talked about the fake Robert Dean information, the fake Richard Hogland information, the fake Mike Barrett information, the fake Preston Nichols information, the fake Pete Peterson information. We're in goddamn fantasy land of Grift Squad here. Like, oh, it's all real. No, every one of those things I mentioned have all been proven to be completely, totally fake, false, disinformation, misinformation, and hoaxes. But he's some kind of great source of information. Welcome to goddamn wacky world of Wilcock, where he's a good source of information.
Schism that's occurred on the inside, where we have different groups. Somebody just said in the comments how much LSD is required to see aliens. David, you are amazing. I want to work for you. We have to do our work to heal ourselves and our planet. We become our own saviors through understanding and reaching our higher selves through understanding God. Yes. I would agree with that.
Let's address this.
How much LSD?
Chris Damaris says all agencies have challenge coins. Police departments, FBI, Secret Service, military, sometimes rank or high position of authority will have their own challenge coins made. People share challenge coins. Yeah, but the ones that he is showing, he's saying you can only get from a general or you can only get from an Air Force colonel. That's a complete and total lie. Otherwise, I wouldn't be holding one in my hand right now. This is the exact same coin that he got off of Amazon. This is a souvenir. This isn't an official Air Force coin made by the Air Force. This is a souvenir that you can buy at a souvenir shop at places like Gettysburg or Valley Forge or military bases. You can also buy them on Amazon or eBay. These are collector's items. People that are into military stuff collect these military coins. This one says Colonel. It's an Air Force. It's an Air Force coin. Fly, fight, win. This is not a challenge coin. This is not a coin that you can't get from other sources. It's a completely and totally, it's a souvenir from a souvenir shop or from Amazon. It's garbage. And for him to claim that you can only get it from an Air Force colonel or from an Army general is a complete and total lie.
Required to see aliens. Well, I wouldn't try to use that method at all. Honestly, like dropping a psychedelic substance and then asking to see a being is probably a very bad idea.
Yeah.
A very bad idea.
I would agree with that. Although many people I know that tried DMT saw entities, including myself. Most people report seeing a purple being, kind of like a certain Anjali we remember.
Ambassador Saul said, this guy thinks his thoughts are worth money. Well, okay, we're back to the rate objection again. That's fine. What is the name?
A rate objection. Somebody just slagged him in his live chat. This guy thinks his thoughts are worth money.
Name of your company? I have a master's graduate in bioinformatics and skills in data analytics, Python, yeah, we might need that. So again, be on the lookout for our website coming up here. We're going to be developing it out a lot more in the new year. We did get
David Wilcock's talking about hiring employees when they can't even pay their goddamn bills and they're being sued by investors, right? They can't pay their sprinkler bill, but they're going to hire high-tech science people, right? I really don't think so. I really don't think that he's hiring anybody. They can't even pay their bills. It's
really
just another part of the
breakthrough.
fantasy.
So I'm not worried about money anymore. I mean, we don't have it yet, but
he's not worried about money, right? Then why don't you pay your bills and then those lawsuits will go away?
Levitation is going to be out in 3 or 4 months. And once that happens, it conquers all my money problems, as long as you guys go see it. And again,
nobody should see that. It's a garbage film filled with more garbage fake information.
It's not going to be very expensive, but in the process of watching that film, you're going to really, really help us out tremendously. So that business model may be the one that really carries me through here. And again, if you'd like the full-blown information, the 10.5-hour video course with 7 camera.
Somebody just made fun of him for thinking his thoughts are worth money. And what he does is go straight into a pitch, buy my shit.
And high production value. That's available now at thedisclosure.com. It's the finest collection of all this sacred science and tying together the Michael message. Because what Michael ended up telling me is that they are coming back. The ETs are coming back. These human ETs I've been talking about.
So the Archangel Michael told him that the aliens are coming back. And even though he can't be talking to angels because his information has already been proven to be factually inaccurate, false, he fails the test of a prophet. He's not in communication with angels. The angels are telling him that the aliens are coming back. Great.
They're definitely coming back. Emily Howard says, we need hover cars for the snow. John Brewer, are you David on Telegram? I said that before. I am not on Telegram. There's all kinds of weird stuff out there, including impersonations and hate, and so there's just a lot of things out there that are going to try to tell you they're me, and they're really not. All I do is Twitter. I don't do Facebook anymore. I've never really done any other social media. I'm not that into it because everybody tries to hunt me down.
Oh, I forgot to mention.
Angry and mean people on social media too. So
Yeah, I want to thank everybody. We're going to see how the other half, how the Grift Squad lives. I'm going to buy a ribeye bison steak, a thick one, and I'm going to eat it. I didn't get it in time. Or I didn't have time today to prepare it. I had a long day with my family today. We had a big family day today. The kids were all from school, and we took them to Sesame Place and even had dinner with Elmo, which is just a wild experience. But anyway, I didn't have time. But on the next David Wilcock stream, I'm going to be eating a bison steak, seeing how the other half lives. And thank you all for that. We appreciate you.
Interested. Sorry.
Thanks for appreciating us.
What else? Go natural. Try mushrooms. What happened to the ones you
Super
found
high
in
as
the
a
fairy
kite
ring?
production value. Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that right now. Those were Amanita muscaria. They have the red caps and the white dots.
Yeah, I
That is
agree. I'm a big
traditionally
fan of it.
associated with
I had some
opiate,
small license.
if you take them in a microdose level, it's a really big kind of downer
It's
type
a strong
of experience.
state. Yeah.
And the ceremonial dosage of Amanita is considered like one of the worst trips there is. There's a lot of vomiting. And then people apparently hallucinate beings both large and small. So no thank you. Don't want to do any of that stuff. Anyway, getting back to our slide again here, there was this revolutionary schism that has now led to this alliance forming as a result of ongoing human ET interactions.
Yeah, there's humans interacting with Earth. Can you prove any of that? Well, my proof is a con artist and this other con artist. Oh, and this other con artist. That's my proof. Great.
There's a complete separation between the cabal on space and the cabal on Earth. Another one of the really revolting things you hear is that the whole continent of Africa apparently was promised to the Draco Empire. Hey, why not? Let's just give
that's pretty racist. So, let's give that nation full of black and brown people to the aliens, to the alien overlords, right? Sure.
Yeah. So there was apparently some type of treaty with the Rothschild elements of this and the deep space program. So he was telling me, Jacob, that these guys are actually involved in that too, but that the rest of the organization knows nothing about it. So you have everybody below them here on Earth who are all part of one thing, and they think they know everything, but they don't know anything about the space stuff. They've never been through a Stargate. They've never seen a real extraterrestrial. They might have seen lower astrals, but they haven't seen real extraterrestrials. They're not being invited to go. Nobody cares. We're like slaves to these negative ETs, but then the Rothschild folks, whoever they are, apparently promised these guys that they would be able to inhabit Africa and they could terraform it and, build their own atmosphere that has a lot more oil in it than we do. We couldn't breathe it because of the oil, but
they were going to terraform an entire continent, and
so
we were going to
some
let
of the really scary stuff you hear. We also hear them saying, "Your gold, your water, or your women." And this was, the classic line of like, well, they are pirates. They're here to plunder us. And so these are the things that they're after, just like we saw in the television show, The Visitors.
Oh, it's from, that's his source. The Final Battle. That's his source.
Comments here. Too many commercials in a live. Sorry, I have no, look, if I don't actually use ads, I have no protection. You'd never be able to see this. So
he has to have ads or he can't do live streams. That's completely and totally factually inaccurate. You could turn the ads off, or you could at least turn them down. He's got the ads cranked up to like beyond annoying.
You got to kind of wink with me and understand that I have to have ads turned on, or else this show would never happen. All right. Let's see. Dark Space Program did that. Draconians can't have Africa. Their empire is huge. Well, no, they don't have any land. That's the problem. They wanted to have a place to live.
Locations.
They wanted to be Africa, and so that's not going to be allowed to occur. But the DS apparently did a number of things beginning in 1976 to prepare Africa for colonization.
You can't just terraform one continent, I would think. I mean, I don't know,
that's not happening.
Troy.
So again, these treaties have all been nullified. Somebody, Brandon, donated $5. Thank you. And he said, will there be on-the-job training with your new company? I really need to change in career. This is right up my alley. Yes. This is a big part of what's turning into the agenda that is 47. And I just want to be careful in how I delineate that. That agenda thing is going to be involved.
Yeah,
in
it kind of ends,
being
bro.
built
These are new. I don't know if I like them.
So this is what I'm trying to tell you, folks.
I lost my other.
The people who are behind all the stuff that you know and love, the people who have been making this happen, fighting for freedom, getting us to where we need to go as a planet.
They were right here the
whole time. It all came out of the deep black. It all came out of the UFOs. It all came out of the
That's better.
The area
like myself again.
Where again
these are a little too big.
With 10,000.
These are a little too big.
10,000 people born on Earth, but 200,000 personnel.
I think I like these better.
And again, Pete told me that there's 65 different off-planet locations that we're seeing throughout, where there are American military personnel, supposedly, throughout our galaxy.
Yeah, so his completely and totally con artist, fraud, fake whistleblower told him all this stuff. Why should we care? Why should we care what a completely and totally fake whistleblower has to say about aliens? But welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock. It doesn't have to make sense. A lot of times
it's giant spheres that were left behind by the Draco Empire. He told me that we have these stargates that are little moons that are artificial. Stargates. And you can go in there and have 3,500 people working and living in that little sphere. And it was an old Stargate system, and the Draco just completely threw it away. It's their garbage.
I love that.
That's one of the things that we've now done, enabling us to colonize the galaxy.
I have it on DVD.
So as I started to research all this more and more, I realized the whole story is surprisingly biblical. You know, you have evil ETs that sound a lot like the devil, and they're doing all the kind of things the devil wants you to do.
I agree, absolutely.
Projecting into human form. They're using UFOs as time machines, but we didn't really know about this galactic family reunion and all the details until the Michael prophecies, this contact I just went through for the last 2 years.
David is such a
The secrets are much greater than almost anybody can imagine. All right, so now I want to make sure that we get to our global peace meditation.
Oh, we got to meditate.
You guys don't all like drop off here. Let's see how many we have. Oh, we got 6,000 people right now. So could you do me a favor?
6,000 people?
Please don't hang up as we do the meditation. We're only going to do 5 minutes, but this is the most number we've had this far in the game.
I was watching in the
so I'm going to do 5 minutes, but let's do this together now.
6,000 live viewers.
And this is going to help really ease all the problems in the world. I feel obligated to use this technology every time. So here we go.
Oh, yeah, he's got to do the fades, and he's got to put like 3 of himself on the screen
I'd like you to
once.
Close your eyes now.
I'm not closing shit, David.
Put both feet flat on the floor. Take a nice deep breath.
Hold on to your briefing coin during the meditation.
Keep on breathing.
He just muted himself so he could blow us into a snot rag.
All right, let me get into this space with you.
Wilcock's World Chaos Meditation. Yeah. He's been doing these global peace meditations for how long? And you know what's happened? More wars broke out.
Deeper and deeper.
Since he started doing this, since he started doing world peace meditations, more wars broke out. I guess his shit doesn't work. And
then as you exhale, just feel yourself going farther and farther away, more and more into yourself.
Oh, let's put 2 of us on screen at once, because I'm just one of him on screen is not enough for me. We need to have 2.
Are we in fact?
Oh, my gas and smoke
of a spectacular?
So stupid. It's just so
galactic
stupid.
Family reunion.
Do not meditate with this man, says Patty Wilhelm. Yeah.
Once we reach that place.
He's meditating for peace, and since he started,
Michael Prophecies tells us
this guy's terrible at world peace meditations. Just like he's terrible at any information.
These higher beings who we will meet, who have been with us all along.
Oh my God, he's going to keep doing this for this.
We will realize that we have always been safe.
Always been safe.
We are preventing nuclear war.
We're preventing nuclear war with our peace meditation. Dude, that worries me because he's wrong about everything, and he just said he's preventing nuclear war with his peace meditation. That probably means we're in for a nuclear war because he's wrong about everything he says. Oh, no.
From all sorts of very, very upsetting, frightening, and dangerous things. And we are learning through each and every step how to become more alive.
It's one of my most popular things here.
To breathe in the magnificent energy of the cosmos, to breathe it through our bodies, to exhale it outward.
Yeah, I don't think my multicam setup can do that,
to
honestly,
activate
or I would.
The inner light,
just
the energetic activation of our true selves.
We need an energetic activation of our true selves and who we really are. Yeah.
Going even deeper now.
That's what we need.
Feeling so perfectly relaxed, so at peace, that there is no need to be concerned about anything at all.
Wrong one.
Keeping ourselves alive and happy, sustaining our nutrition
That's
through
better.
breath, through eating the right foods.
You got to
drinking the
hold on
proper
to
water,
your briefing coin while you do that.
maintaining
You got to hold on to the briefing coin.
attitude of love.
That's my
gratitude,
David
happiness,
Wilcock briefing coin. I got it
patience,
from a
forgiveness,
general or a colonel.
Thanksgiving.
No, I got it from Amazon. I'm getting briefings. I'm getting briefings like
No
David
longer need to
Wilcock.
repeat
Can't get
the
this coin
mistakes that
anywhere
categorized
else.
So many
The only
failed
place you can get this
opportunities in
coin
our
is
past.
during a top secret
We
briefing.
no
from
longer
the
need to
general
feel
or
as if
colonel.
our lives are
What a
spiraling out of
show
control.
this is.
And
What
all of this is
a
heading in
goddamn
some negative and
show.
scary direction. We are learning and understanding for ourselves now that we are moving into a new type of existence. Michael's message is that there is an energetic activation taking place. And as we go into the dark night of the soul on a planetary level, there is similarly an implosion occurring within our cosmic self. And we are
My cams is
having that world expand, just like the raisin bread.
yeah.
Our own consciousness.
He's talking about raisin
is becoming
bread.
greater than it was, and our dream landscape is getting
Oh, we're
larger.
having raisin bread during
And the
our
world will get
peace
larger
bullshit
too. The
meditation.
boundaries that we used to define Earth as ending with
Thinks
will
he's
no
Dr.
longer be relevant.
Strange, the multitude of
We will
madness.
see
This
that
is
there
the
are
multitude of madness right here.
angelic host from all throughout the
0
universe
days of darkness so far. Yes, absolutely.
who've come here
There has been 0
and
days.
visited us, seeking
Yes,
to make
you're
their
right.
presence
Bottled
known,
water says women who introduce themselves with their
seeking to give us
horoscope.
hope
Listen to David
in a
Wilcock.
situation
Seriously.
that can seem entirely hopeless. Giving us
He says he doesn't know if he can take the
reasons to
actual power.
believe
He's
in the
transcendent.
ancient promises told in so many scriptures and spiritual works.
I think he's originally from New York. His parents were rich. Big surprise.
That we are the light. We are the
I'm
love.
losing pieces here.
We are the infinite prayer. Meditate ever so deeply. Let that energy out into the world. For all, that the changes we are going through in the world are not random. They are not chaotic.
Yes, they are.
They are not unpredictable.
Yes, they are.
This is a perfect plan designed by higher intelligence, whose endpoint is the graduation of every living person on
His
Earth.
profile
into
makes
higher
speakers close their eyes for
fourth density
meditation.
reality,
Yes.
not just 144,000 who go through ascension
David's
and
holy
rapture,
relic.
but humanity as a whole.
Ascension and
We
rapture.
find
Yeah, didn't you sell a course
able
on
to
ascension 3 times and nobody ascended, David Wilcock? Come on, man.
something more than it ever had been before.
This is so
A
stupid.
new form of life, a new civilization, new wonders waiting for us inside
It's-
the Earth,
it's a
the
comic.
Moon, on Mars, and throughout our solar system. An almost irresistible
Yes, David Wilcock will
temptation
soon be on an
want to
off
go
ramp
out
with a
there
sign
and see
saying, "We'll
what
pray
is the
for world
face on
peace
Mars?
for
What are the
food."
pyramids? Who lived there?
Troll.
What did
Thanks
they
for being a
build?
member. And thanks to
What
all
artifacts
our
did they
members.
leave behind?
Yes, we are the grift.
What can we find for our own time? And how
Tim
can
Elf
we
is
implement
here.
this
Welcome.
knowledge for the betterment of humanity
I love this one.
Can
0
we release
days of
these forbidden
darkness so
technologies
far.
and bring about the world
What
that we
a
really
clown
want to see?
show. The dramatic
that answer
camera
is yes.
fade, change fade. Yes.
As we breathe here and now, we are co-creating this future together.
Yeah. All
Where
his
there is a perfect
videos are
solution
from. I
to
don't
all
know.
of
He
this
doesn't have a
apparent
music
chaos,
studio in
misery, and
there.
pain.
I don't think so. I mean,
That
he's
solution
got an
involves
iMac
us
and
being
a
relaxed,
guitar. That's not a music
learning to
studio.
breathe, and just letting go.
I want to let go of this
all these
video. I've
stacks
had
of
enough of this
concerns
shit. We got 6 more minutes
So
of this.
typically seem to define
5 more minutes.
patterns
I'll
our
power
thoughts
through.
each and every
Besides,
day.
I got my disclosure briefing
I'm
coin. I'm going to learn
Yeah,
all about the
greater understanding.
aliens.
Learning to love one another, and when we do, the universe prepares a path for us to graduation.
That's another shady
A
thing.
path where within our lifetime we have the most spectacular changes that could have ever possibly been anticipated. And this is not
May the
supposition,
force be with you.
speculation.
Yes, Richard.
It is the future.
Shut up. Star Wars
It
is
is
a
the future that
documentary.
we are going to be heading into in a very short period of time.
It's the radiation from
the events that are going to
Wilcock's
happen on
head.
Earth will be the most fantastic events in human history, dwarfing any other previous ET contacts that
Thanks,
religions were
Art
created
Paranormal.
out of.
Our one and only
Everyone will know with
moderator.
absolute
Yes.
certainty that we are not alone and that these humans have always been there for us and that they are benevolent and kind and they've always had our best interest in mind. We do believe that this is coming sooner than you may even want to imagine.
Oh, it's coming real soon.
Best way-
He said a month ago that mass arrests and huge earth changes were coming in the next 2 weeks. That was a month ago. None of that shit happened. Do you know why? Because he's Earth's worst prophet. He's Earth's worst psychic.
Prepare again.
If he says something's going to happen, you could bet money that it won't.
Seek the peace of the moment, to seek to be as loving as possible, to be as compassionate and forgiving as possible.
Yeah, exactly. Where
So
was
one
he
more
when
time,
we were fighting in
breathe this healing
Afghanistan for
energy out
20
into
years?
the world.
Isn't it great,
All
though? He
those
started
areas
these
where
world
there's
peace
conflict,
meditations,
strife,
and then
and
the world
struggle.
went to
Let's
total
visualize
chaos. So
peaceful,
I guess
easy
his
solution.
meditations are worthless. Imagine that.
As you exhale, just breathe that.
Not going to
beautiful
believe
peace into
him,
the
says
world.
Wise Monkey, unless he plays the guitar. Yes. He's the dollar store Edgar Casey. He's the Wish version, right? The shit version. Oh,
Sealing it,
dramatic pause.
making it as so it is. Amen. Now I'd like you to breathe your way back into the room, start wiggling your fingers and toes. When you're ready, you can start to open up your eyes. Woo, there we go. I actually kept it under 2 hours. I'm happy about that.
Alien cam
We
girl.
only lost 400 people. So, okay, no harm, no foul, Thank you guys for still hanging in there with us. Yeah, so we've had
He's going to do another pitch for money, I bet you.
some really great things happen with the company. I'm not worried.
Really great things. We've had really great things happen with the company. Like another one of our creditors is suing us and endangering our only asset, the airplane hangar filled with garbage dumpsters. A garbage dumpster company rents our airplane hangar to put garbage dumpsters in. So we've had really great things happening with the company. Another creditor that we owe $50,000 or thereabouts to, $40,000 or more, that we never paid is suing us in the state of New York. Great things are happening with the company.
Anymore.
He's a liar.
There's some loans that have lined up at different levels of size. I really do think last week telling you about my troubles was a very important part of acknowledging what had happened. When I went to college for psychology, they tell us communication can solve all of our problems.
No,
That was one of the things that every psychology class kept.
I don't believe that. And I took a psychology class.
saying.
I don't
If you
know.
just communicate, it could solve all your problems. And so many things would be better off than they are. So I encourage you to communicate. I encourage you to communicate with yourselves and with each other.
Oh, let's all communicate, friends, because David
And
Wilcock
just
said
be
it's good for
honest.
us.
Honest.
He just said, just be honest. As he's telling you great things are happening for his company that just got sued by another creditor. That's 3 people suing his shady aerospace company that's been in business for 29 years but has yet to produce a single airplane. But he's going to make hover cars with free energy engines with that company. Sure he is. Be honest with people, he's telling people, as he's lying to you about how great his company, how great things are going at that company that's being sued by another person they owe a lot of money to.
Honesty is so important right now, to look honestly at your shortcomings, things that you might not like about yourself, and say, you know what? I'm willing to let that go. I'm willing to let that go. And where can I change? Where can I be a better version of myself? That's my meditation. Yeah. That's what I'm always doing.
He's trying to be a better version of himself. As he's lying to people, claiming he's in communication with angels and wants $333 from stupid people. And again, his information was already wrong in the first book. He could have stopped at the first book, realizing I'm not in communication with an angel, because an angel wouldn't give me factually false information, because that would mean I'm not in communication with a real angel.
I'm always trying to find ways to improve. And that includes wearing a pink shirt for you. I mean, hell, I threw down. This doesn't just happen every day. When you get this kind of amazing circuitry of clothing, that comes in and just is delivered across this entire spectrum of cameras. I mean, oh my God, it is.
Dude, how many more camera angles does he need? I think he's up to 7. And, you know, I use multicam, but we use like 2 or 3. Yeah, I don't think you need 7. Boy, it's just ridiculous, right?
Love at first sight. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you come to the house and you think that you're going to fall in love, but that's just not the way it works. You got to keep it on the screen. Okay, you can just touch the screen and you'll be happy. Maybe. I don't know. Some people want more than that. But anyway, there were some questions on there about jobs with our company. Yes. As I was starting to say with the Agenda 47 thing, yeah, you went through all of them.
They're gonna hire
the
people.
Agenda 47 thing is very cool.
They're being sued for like
technology is going to be
over $1 million, I think. I think the investor wants $1 million back. That's suing them. And the sprinkler company's like 50 grand and the other company is 40 grand. That's like $1.4 million of debt. Oh, isn't it interesting? Is it 1.4 or no, $1.1 million? All right. I thought I matched up to his 1.4 million in debt.
That the group that's been saving us, that's within the military, has all this technology, and they're just trying to figure out how to let us know about that and how to not shock the world. People say, oh, well, this is not in the Bible. Yeah, well, it actually is. You just have to understand what's really going on.
No, I had 12 years of scripture study and theology classes with Catholic Jesuits. Take from that what you will. But nothing that David Wilcock talks about insofar as his interpretation of biblical scripture is accurate. And every minister, every Catholic priest, and every Jewish rabbi that I know would agree with me that David Wilcock's interpretation of the Bible is New Age nonsense garbage. It's not accurate. So I don't know why he thinks he's a biblical scholar all of a sudden. He doesn't know anything about the Bible, or he knows very little.
Yeah, and that's where the Michael prophecies come in. So once again, thedisclosure.com is.
Here's the pitch. Buy my shit.
The website.
Buy my shitty books for $333.
I guess I will sign off now, and I think I have to wait something like 30 seconds before I actually hit the stop button in order for you to see the whole thing. That's the only bad part about my show. So
That's the only bad part about his show, not all the fake information that he spouts for 2 hours straight.
That up. And anyway, we're going to end it for right now. I'll wait the awkward 30 seconds, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
And he couldn't work it right. Look at this. He's just going to sit there for 30 seconds. He can't work an end bumper. The guy with the 180 IQ who claims he's smarter than Einstein, he can't work an end bumper to a show during a live stream. This super genius of the millennium who claims he's smarter than Einstein, he can't work an end bumper. Awesome. Well, we made it through. We made it through another garbage stream of bullshittery, the likes of which the world has never seen. And I would say that the biggest takeaway is this. David Wilcock said that the only way to get these coins is during those secret briefings with generals, right? Then why do I have one? Am I getting secret? I'm getting secret briefings from generals because David Wilcock said you can only get these coins that way. He's a liar. And this is such a childish, nonsensical. This one's so childish. Really? It's like somebody gave him some souvenir coins and he was like, I could use these to grift. You know what? I could grift off this coin because I've never seen these. Maybe they're rare coins and I could just lie and say they're from his classified briefings. They're challenge coins. Come on. It's so nonsensical and stupid. And by the way, I have been neglecting to play our bumpers to remind you that we're a viewer-supported show. I saw we missed one super chat. For those unaware, we read every single super chat. And I think that it's a great way to make sure that we appreciate the support. So, I do appreciate the support because things like this, we just take it out of the till. I bought the coin. I brought you the truth of these top secret coins tonight. And I can do that because we have a little bit of money in the till. I want to thank each and every one of you supporters. you Patreon supporters, you Twitch subscribers, you PayPal pledgers, you super chatters, super stickers, super thanks people. We appreciate all the support. And just like David Wilcock, I got to tell you, buy my shit.
Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Wonderful people like you who enjoy this show send pledges in the form of super chats, super stickers, super thanks, PayPal, or Cash App. Instructions for how to help are in the description. You can also join our Patreon, and for as little as $1 a month you can get extra content. Patreon supporters get a backstage pass, early access to all our production videos before they are distributed publicly, Stephen Campion's music, private writings, a monthly show journal, and more. You can also become a YouTube channel member for $5 a month. A YouTube membership includes all of the Patreon benefits, plus a special members badge, priority reply to video comments, and the live chat, plus a monthly members-only video. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors, for supporting Truth Seekers. Thank you for your generosity and support. Truthseekers is a viewer-supported show. Now there's a great way to support these broadcasts and show your support. Please be sure and check out our merchandise store. Links to our 2 merchandise online stores are in the links to this video or podcast. The Amazon storefront ships super quickly in the United States, Great Britain, and in many more places. Amazon may not ship to your country or location. If that's the case, hit our second merchandise link in the description and visit our Redbubble storefront. Merchandise from our Redbubble storefront ships worldwide, but may take longer than Amazon. We've got a great deal of super high quality merchandise for you to choose from, including t-shirts, phone cases, sweatshirts, and even pillows. The feedback from our products have been overwhelmingly great. Quality products and fast shipping. People all over the world are buying some merchandise and showing their support of the show. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. Praise the cash. We thank you all, kind and generous benefactors who are buying some merchandise and helping us to continue this journey.
Hey, so we are back, and I did forget one important thing. You may have noticed that the music videos are back, and we want to thank Simon Fly. You can subscribe to his YouTube channel. It's right in the description of this video, how to do that. But before we close our show, I'm actually going to close our show with one of his latest music videos from Simon Fly, which details David Wilcock. Some great stuff. We've got one called I'm David Wilcock. And so we want to thank each and every one of you for joining us. But before I finish, let me check in with the live chat. I should have mentioned that the show was not over. People see those bumpers and they jump out. We want to thank Troll for 2 things. Pardon me. Being a member, Troll's been a member for quite some time, and for this kind and generous super chat. He says, David Wilcock used to drink Goldschlager, but he got sick of picking the gold flakes out of his poop the next morning. Well, that's good to know. And thank you for your kindness, generosity, and support, and also for being a member. Also, some good news. I do have live in-person guests. We're going to have them here soon. I'm not sure how soon, but we're going to have live in-person studio guests. That's coming soon. And also, I've been working on my office, which we previously streamed from. So we'll be able to stream from both locations here in my home. I'm an all chips kind of guy. All chips in, or secret briefing coins. I'm getting briefings with my secret briefing coins. Yeah. So we have done our due diligence. I am going to play us out with this wonderful, we'll take some comments and questions real quick from the live chat. Mr. Ian is back. Good to see you, Mr. Ian. I thought he was dead, but he was just busy with family things and some other stuff he was dealing with. We're glad to see him back. Mr. Ian is back on work from the AI front, so we're going to have some new stuff. And by the way, there's a bunch of crawlers, Mr. Ian, that you did that I never used, and I started to process them. You know how I add the logos and the music, so we're going to have that stuff. Will be processed and ready to go soon. So if you get me some more stuff to work with, we'll be golden. And we have the other streaming location, which I've done a bunch of upgrades in there. It looks great, sounds great. We've got the multi-screens and everything. And maybe tomorrow night I'm going to broadcast from there. I have a little more work to do on that. Yes, and the guests here are going to get a secret. Exactly, Algaray. If you come and you're a live studio guest, you're going to get a challenge coin. You're going to get a super secret, super duper secret challenge coin that you can only get from Truthseekers. But I mean it, because I'm getting custom Truthseekers coins made just for our guests. There is actually a table over there. You can't see because the wall's in the way, but around the bend here, there's a table. And we have guest swag on it. I've got coffee mugs that say Truthseekers and some shirts. And so when guests come here live and in person, they're going to get some swag to go away with. I'm going to switch my chair here because this is looking strange. We'll get over here. Read whatever remaining super chats we have. Kind and generous Tales of the Sonic Voyage, who's also a member. Thanks for that. And for the kind and generous $2. Said, I'm missing $333 from my bank account. WTF. Yes, absolutely. All sales are final. There are no refunds. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There are no refunds. And if you're not sure about that, wait a minute here. I'm pretty sure. Ross says all sales are final. Absolutely no refunds. Where is it at? I had a graphic for that. I really did. Oh yeah, here. Look. This is for old school comp sci, just for old school comp sci. Ross says all sales are final. All absolutely. Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. The Archangel Michael has a strict no refund policy. Yeah, exactly. And if you wanted any more proof that he's not in communication with angels, what angels would be okay with giving him super secret, sacred knowledge and then letting him sell it for $333? That is just absolutely, completely, and totally ridiculous. It's ridiculous. No, come on. An angel, God's greatest archangel, is going to give David Wilcock secret information to sell to humanity for $333 a pop? That is so ridiculous. It's so stupid and so childish. But welcome to the wacky world of Wilcock. And by the way, tomorrow night, whether I want to or not, we're going to have to cover some of this alien mummies stuff again. And we may be covering this MH370. I got a few more things to do for that. But tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, is our very next show. And we appreciate you guys joining us. So we will have another show tomorrow night, which is the 8th already, right? Yeah, the 8th. Boy, time is flying. Like October flew by to me. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m., 11/8/2023. Please join us in the chat. We hope to see you at our next live show. And also, I got to do the YouTube thing to tell you, please like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos on your social media. If you know a fan of a certain Grift Squad member, send them our video links. Help to educate people, and it really does help. What also helps is to watch one more. So if you watch one of our live streams, if you go to our live section here on YouTube and just watch one more, maybe not tonight, maybe tomorrow while you're at work or driving somewhere or whatever you're doing, cleaning your house, whatever, I'd appreciate it if you watch one more, because apparently YouTube sees you watch one more and they crank up those dials. That's what I've been told by people I trust that know the YouTube game better than me. Yes, James Pepper has provided a comprehensive list of toxic sites across America, and Pennsylvania is, he's got a whole section on Pennsylvania. We're going to probably cover your work here, James Pepper, when I get a chance. I'm a little behind in some shows. But we thank each and every one of you for joining us. We thank you, kind and generous benefactors, you Patreon supporters. By the way, I'm making a Patreon video this week just for Patreon supporters and members. We appreciate, I appreciate you very much, and want to make sure that you know you're appreciated. I kind of, last month, I was late with the journal. And by the way, last month's journal was kind of a downer, and I want to correct the record because people are sending me messages. I'm in a good place. I was kind of like really, I don't know if I was in a bad mood when I made that. It was just, lots of slings and arrows lately, but I'm thinking that things are improving already. What happens here is that, I'll be the first to admit that I easily piss some people off. Usually it's true believers, but sometimes it's even former supporters of mine. They find a way, to turn me into the devil in their own brain, and one of the greatest ways for me to know that somebody will turn on me is for them to constantly tell me how much they love my show, because all I have to do is say one thing that they don't like or disagree with, and then suddenly I'm an asshole now. It's a weird tightrope walk, and I can't live like that. We do the show the way we're going to do it. If you like it, great. If you don't, I'm sorry. We're doing the best we can here. Run, Bessie, run. Linda Moulton Howe killed those cows with a shovel, Tales of the Sonic Voyage. And by the way, thank you for being a member. Randy always says this: don't let Linda Moulton Howe bite or gum. Yeah, so we're going to close out tonight's show with something great, which is this new video of David Wilcock from Simon Fly, who we haven't had his videos here for a while. It's a long story. But tonight, I did not broadcast to one location that he does not want his work on, just so that we could include this. So please show the support, post this video on your social media. Let's make up for the lack of that distribution points views. I'd appreciate the help. This is brand new from Simon Fly. It's got a lot of sniffing in it. I love it. So what can we say? We did our due diligence tonight, friends, and we proved that David Wilcock's lies about these coins are just that. Just another in a long line of lies that we have caught David Wilcock in. I got these coins. I'm not getting briefings from generals. I'm not getting top secret classified information. And David Wilcock lied through his fake teeth yet again. Yes, you can get these coins anywhere. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them on eBay. You can get them on military collectors' websites all over the internet. He is a liar. Or I'm a liar and I'm getting secret briefings from generals. I'm getting briefings like David Wilcock. I'm getting briefings. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, we've done our due diligence. I'm going to bounce on out of here. We'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll be here with us. No place else I'd rather be than right here with you. I'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. I got a great show brewing. I got to work on it tonight to get it together for you, but I'm going to do that. So we'll be back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope you'll be here with us. Until next time, friends, my name is Stephen Cambion. Good night, and God bless all of you.
Oh yeah, look at that. Very good. 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 I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. I'm David Wilcock. Cock, cock, cock. Wow. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels. angels, extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, Wilcock. 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 Extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, extraterrestrials, angels, woo, 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 I'm David Wilcock.
Multiple sources.
Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources. Multiple sources.
Sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
Sources.
Fighter jets were deployed.
Multiple sources.
Fighter jets were deployed. Sources.
Because I've heard of that from 3 different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing.
Because I've heard of that from 3 different people.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. The lack of information, the lack of information, the lack of information.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
The lack of information, 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 the lack of information,
Multiple sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
Multiple sources.
Multiple sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
3 sources.
Credible sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
This is an ongoing mystery.
Multiple sources.
Intelligence sources.